Let's go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There we go. All right. You guys excited? This is going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing call today. See, today, I know most of you came in because I talked about this giveaway that I'm doing. In the giveaway, I'm going to talk about the details in the giveaway because I see y'all already mentioning it. But you got to stay to the end to be able to win the actual giveaway. But I guarantee you, the actual information that I'm going to share with you, and I have a very special guest that I'm bringing along that's going to share a game with you as well, is going to be well worth beyond the $2,000 that we both are collectively giving away today. I have a very, very special guest. Her background will speak for itself. But before we get into that, what I've been doing the last couple of days is day 5 now. Is I've been having a 31-day challenge, and this entire challenge is designed to help just spread financial literacy. We all are aware. For the past year or so, there's been so many people put in bad financial situations. Some of us just never even been experienced, or had been exposed to financial literacy, understanding credit, how to read a credit report, things of that nature. So I wanted to bring everybody in here and give you an opportunity to learn that plus more. So as we're getting started right now, and I'm about to send out a text message because we don't have enough people here yet, not nearly enough people. So that means you didn't tell your friend or your other friend or your other friend. So before I bring my special guest on, I need you guys to do me a favor. First off, if you're in here right now, I need you to press that thumbs up button, and then I need you to share this with at least a couple of those people that you tagged earlier, right? And I promise you, I brought firepower with me today. If you've been on the first 3 to 4 days of the training, you've already been blown away. Some of you have said this is more information than you've ever been exposed to. But beyond that, I brought somebody that literally this is their field. She's an expert in this field, and we're going to talk about how to get anything removed off your credit report today. I'm talking about any type of delinquency, from repossessions, bankruptcies, judgments, and how to do it ethically, how to do it legally. You're going to learn how to do that stuff today. So I'm glad that we have people tuning in right now. I'm going to give a few more minutes for people to load in. I'm going to send out a text message blast because right now, with the amount of information and free game that you're about to get today, we should definitely have more people in here. So I'm going to keep Miss, I'm not even going to tell you her name yet. We can keep Arnita back there in the back. And then y'all get ready, send it to your people, and give us just a few minutes to send out a couple text message blasts, and we're going to get this thing started. But I appreciate everybody joining. I hope y'all excited. $2,000 cash giveaway on this call today. So if you're hearing my voice right now, you're eligible to win. All you gotta do is follow the directions in my Instagram post, and if you follow that direction, you know who's gonna be speaking. Um, but here we go. Let me send out a text. Hey everyone, live right now on YouTube. Join me right now live on YouTube. We have a $2,000 cash giveaway. Plus, you get to learn how to take anything off your credit report. Today, you learn how to remove literally anything off your credit report, and you're going to learn from a credit expert. And I'm not talking about myself. I have a special guest with me. So join me on YouTube right now. Tony the Closer. Let's go. If y'all on my text message list, you should all get that right now. If you're not getting this text message right now and you're hearing my voice, you need to make sure that you text me right now. 919-822-8525. All right. Let's see if I can get it. I got firepower with me today, y'all. She back here and she popping, her hair popping, her eyelashes and everything. I mean, she ain't playing today. You hear me? I can't wait for y'all to me cut the camera on. Y'all get to see how my guest came. She came stepping today. I love it. I love it. Y'all ready? Y'all excited to learn how to make some money today? how to get your credit right, how to get the negative items removed, how to do it legally without having to worry about looking over your shoulder or having them people come knocking at the door. Because that's what a lot of the stuff that you've been learning from some of these people will have somebody knocking on your door. All right? And we want to keep you from going to jail. We want to show you how to do it the right way. And more importantly, get it from expert, right? Get it from somebody that literally this is their field. So it was important to me as I was speaking on credit to bring in somebody that I trusted and that would be someone that wouldn't take advantage of you. So shout out to everybody that's joining in here today. If you got a repo on your credit right now, if you got a bankruptcy, if you got late payments, if you got that pesky old timeshare that you know that you was never going to go to in the first place, that you ain't paid it in like 6 months or whatever, yeah, I know the pandemic came and you ain't pay your timeshare. We're going to talk about how to get this stuff off your credit report because it all comes as real, right? Life hits you, you thought you was going to be going everywhere, then pandemic came and then now your credit all messed up. So I got a special guest coming in today. My girl Arnita out of Dallas, Texas. I'm about to bring her on here in a second. And when I tell you, I'm excited to have her because her delivery is going to be straight to the point. It's real, is direct, and it's important to get that. And I've been doing a 31-day training, and I've been bringing all this stuff to you for free. And she's decided to give you her time for free. So as she comes in, first and foremost, we want nothing but respect to any guest that I bring on here. Definitely her, or I want all the smoke, right? So I want to make sure everybody is respectful in the comments. I want to make sure we showing love. If you come in here and you're getting stuff that's going to help you fix your family situation, how you can, really start working on generational wealth because credit is essential in generational wealth. Understanding how to manage your credit, how to be able to manage your finances, essential. And she's giving you the game today. She's helped hundreds of thousands of people get their credit repaired. She's trained so many people across the world, has a huge credit repair business, and I'm really really excited for her to be able to like share her expertise on how she's being able to do this and do it legally, right? Because most people are gonna get you in trouble. I'm just gonna keep it real. They're gonna do something that's gonna have you out here looking real sketchy. You're gonna be out here with bank fraud, wire fraud, and the feds knocking at your door. And I'm just gonna tell you, I know some people that had that happen, and this this shit don't feel good. It ain't what you want. It's all good till it ain't good, right? And ignorance isn't an excuse, all right? And we're gonna talk about that because if you got somebody that's signing credit applications or doing something in your name or using your social security number, guess who they're coming for? They're gonna come to you. So we're going to talk about how you can get anything in 2021 removed off your credit report, how you do it the right way, trusted sources, trusted resources that you can actually use right now to get this going. So let me go ahead and bring Arnita in here. Let me see if I can share this properly. I'm on Ecamm Live. I haven't been using YouTube, so I want to make sure I'm doing this properly. So if we don't see Arnita properly, please let me know in the chat as I add her because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Hold on one second. Oh, I see what it is. All right, let's see if I can fix this. I see you like partially on the screen. This looks so wrong. Why is this not right? And I'm gonna unmute you, Arnita. Can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
They say they don't see you yet, so hold on one second. Let me see what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing on this app right now, y'all. So don't be out here judging me. I'm trying to get it right so we got Arnita where we can see her, but it's been acting up for us a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Take your time.
Said do full screen. That's what I'm trying to do. Like I'm telling you, like I'm not a Ecamm person. So let me see. Let me see what it looks like if I go to my YouTube page. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all, for the tech. We're gonna get better tech as this gets on, but we're gonna give you game today. So like, don't be judging me in the comments. They say they see you though. They say they see you, but not me. That's
Oh,
interesting.
wow.
I'm sorry, for the tech. Okay, so I see what they see. Hold on. How do we do this? All right. So this is what I'm gonna do. Uh, I'm gonna. I'm just gonna pan in between both Arnita and myself. I'm not really sure how to do it the other way, so I know right now I can see myself, so I can just use this, and we're gonna have some really good dialogue. So first and foremost, Arnita, thank you for taking some time today, to really come here and share what we all need is credit advice and experience on how to do this stuff, the credit game, the right way, the legal way. Um, and as we were having a conversation this morning, you know, we were actually on the phone with someone else I know from in the credit industry, right? And today we're going to be talking about credit repair. And credit repair is something that is highly, highly, highly sought after. And there's so many people that are teaching credit repair. There's so many people that are doing credit repair services and charging all kinds of money. And you don't know what you're going to get at the end of the day. And as we were having this call today, one of the things that stood out to me is your integrity, right? The first thing that I heard that really resonates with me is the integrity piece. You wanted to make sure people, as they got educated on credit, that they knew how to do it on their own. But if they use somebody, how to find trusted sources, and even you knew some of the laws and regulations about upfront fees and things like that. Things that I hadn't even been informed on, right? Which really opened up my eyes and gave you more credibility in my face, right? Because when I put people in front of my audience, I think I have a huge responsibility to make sure that that person is going to be honest. Is going to be somebody that's going to be able to get them the results that they say that they can do. And at the end of the day, I've been in jail before. I don't want my audience going to jail based off something that I
Right.
say or that somebody else is giving them, thinking that it's good advice, right? So instead of me stepping on my own toes and saying something improper, I wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of come in and give us your credit expert advice on the proper ways to clean your credit report. Now, in this 31-day challenge, one thing that stood out to me was how many people didn't really know the basics of credit and even where to find their credit report at, right? So we started from ground zero, literally just, hey, going to annualcreditreport.com, getting a free copy of your report, understanding that every year you can get access to all three copies of your report for free. Then I show people how they could actually go through and review the report so they can find what items or inaccuracies or items are on their actual credit report so they know how to, you should be able to identify what's on your actual report and then to obviously be able to dispute any inaccuracies that you might have on your report. So um, I guess I'm gonna really let you lead some of this stuff, but I want to just give you some framework of what we've already kind of covered. So for the people that are in here now, they have had kind of the beginning frameworks of how to find a credit report, what to look for on the credit report. Now today is the day we're talking about how do we get the negative items off the credit report. So now that people know what's on the credit report now, the first thing I want to talk about is, we don't want to dispute everything, right? We, the,
Correct.
the number one mistake I know that people make is that they go and they try to make a mass dispute. So every negative item that's on their credit report, they try to dispute at once. Can you just talk about the proper maybe couple steps it takes to actually do a dispute?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Arnita Johnson Hall, credit expert and credit consumer advocate. I've been doing this for over 14 years, nationally recognized. And one of the biggest issues that I find with people trying to correct inaccuracies on their credit report is just simply not knowing how to, and also not knowing how to properly communicate with the credit bureaus. So, first, I want to start by adding that everything on your credit report must be accurate, verifiable, and reporting timely within accordance to the law. So, people will ask me, okay, well, what about student loans? What about foreclosures? What about a repossession? What about a bankruptcy? everything and anything that is on your credit report within accordance of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it must be accurate, verifiable, or reporting timely. And if not, that information must either be corrected or removed. So when you was talking about the improper way to dispute, which I'm really glad that we're talking about this particular topic first, is because people assume that credit repair means disputing everything that is derogatory on their credit report. And that is like the farthest from the truth. What you want to ensure is that you are making sure that your credit report as accurate as possible, excuse me. And you also want to make sure that it is strengthened and showing the best representation of how you pay your bills. All right. So there are things that may be on your credit report that may be reporting negative. However, it may be having a positive impact on your credit report. For example, if there is a negative account on your credit report, oftentimes it is a student loan for a lot of us, because we typically get those accounts straight out of high school and right into college. Typically, those are the accounts that I see the most, including myself, who sometimes they may go into default or they may have a few late payments. And the first thing that you say is, oh my gosh, I just want to go ahead and dispute that. However, if it is the longest reporting account onto your credit report and it is contributing to your credit history, okay, if you dispute that information with the credit bureaus and it is removed, yes, it may have been a negative account, but it was contributing to your credit history. By removing it from your credit report, your credit score is actually going to go down and your credit report is going to look less established. All right. So the goal is to ensure that when we are disputing information on our credit report, we want to make sure why are we actually disputing this information and what do we want the outcome to be. If you find an inaccuracy and you go to the credit bureaus and you say, hey, upon auditing my credit report, this particular information is inaccurate and I want it to be removed, guess what? There's a great chance that information is going to be removed. And you want to keep in mind that once that information is removed, it's not coming back. All right. There is a 5-day reinsertion law. And what that states is anything that is removed from your credit report, the credit bureaus have to inform you within 5 days that that information is going to be reinserted. And I can tell you the chances of that is slim to none. I've been doing this for 14 years and I can literally count on my hand how many times I've seen it. Literally, maybe 5 in the 14 years that I have been doing this. So I say all of that to say that when you are challenging derogatory inaccuracies on your credit report, you really want to think to yourself when you are creating your plan of action on how you want to dispute this information, do you want it to be removed or do you want it to be updated?
Right. All right. So now the first thing I know is really important, and when people start the dispute process, I think a lot of people initially go straight into like, hey, I got a repossession of a car or a credit card. That's probably not where, and from my personal experience, and you can help me out with this, right? That's probably not where you should start. I think you start from old addresses, any incorrect information as far as names and
Absolutely.
things of that nature, right? So in the
Yes.
initial dispute process, we want to, instead of going right after like your big negative item that you're trying to get removed, typically what happens is your credit is going to be matched based off old addresses and places that, well, even like your old workplaces, right? So previous
Yes.
employers or what else we got? There's a couple of different things that they'll use to try to verify you. So you want to go and take off anything that's not current, right? So first thing, if you know that you lived at 123 Main Street and you just tore every damn thing up that you ever owned at 123 Main Street, my first bit of advice for you is to get a new address and to get a new driver's license or ID card to your new place, because I'm gonna be disputing that old address of 123 Main Street just because I know I just caused all kind of chaos there. So I want that off my credit file as quickly as possible to detach myself from that. Is that accurate? Am I giving good advice there, Arnita?
Yes, for the most part, and I'm actually kind of like, okay, he kind of know his stuff. All right. So just to add on to that, yes, that is partially correct. Now, there are several reasons why you want to ensure that the personal information on your credit report is accurate and most updated as possible. And there are several reasons for that. Okay, so the first one is the more addresses on your credit report, it causes you to look unstable. Okay. And creditors want to know that in the event that they extend credit to you, they want to know where they can find. All right. They want to know how stable you are. If you're someone who have numerous addresses on the credit report, they may get the assumption that you move around a lot. All right. So you want to make sure that your most recent mailing address is to be reported onto your credit report. Now, I get a lot of kickback from that because I get people who say, well, I don't want my debtors to find me. I don't want these collection agents to find me. Well, here's the thing. If you know how to properly dispute inaccuracies on your credit report or just information on your credit report, period, if you know how to properly communicate with the creditors, collection agencies, and the credit bureaus, then there's nothing to fear. You want to ensure that you are receiving all correspondences that has your name on it, okay? Because also, too many addresses on your credit report can increase your chances of identity theft. So you want to make sure that any correspondence that is related to your credit is to be sent to an address to where you receive, that type of information. Now, a great one that Tony said that I really like is you want to definitely make sure that any type of old addresses, especially that is attached to derogatory, inaccurate information, is removed from the credit report, because there are some credit bureaus that will automatically verify that information as accurate as Experian. So if you look at a credit report that has come directly from Experian, if you go to the personal information section of that credit report, there are address identification numbers, right? And what you can do is compare that address identification number to each account that is on your credit report. So more than likely, if you dispute an inaccuracy on your credit report with Experian, and that address identification number is attached to that derogatory account, and you say, hey, this information is, inaccurate, it needs to be removed, or I have no knowledge of this account, it needs to be removed, Experian may update that information and verify it as accurate solely because that identification address number matches the account. So what you want to do is two things, okay? Now, if there is a creditor that you are already paying, right, that you are in good standing with, and that information is being reported onto the credit report, and you look at your Experian credit report and you see that identification number, what you want to do is contact your creditor, all right, and have your address updated, all right? Now, any address that is associated to an inaccurate derogatory account that is reporting, that is what you want to have removed from the credit report. All right. So the first thing you have to do, especially with disputing with Experian, is you want to remove the address first. All right. And then you go back round, and that is oftentimes people think the first round of disputes is to start disputing the inaccuracies on the credit report as far as the account goes. But the first thing you really want to do, as Tony mentioned, is disputing that personal information.
I made a mistake and muted you. I was trying to figure out how to cut.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I made a mistake and muted you because I was trying to cut these chats off.
What's the
So
last thing you heard?
like as you were describing, my bad, y'all. I told y'all, look. Don't be mad at me. I'm trying to figure this damn Ecamm out. It's my first time on. I'm gonna get better. But you were describing, I was really like the last minute or so, like.
Okay. So let me go back. So what you want to do is to ensure that when you are disputing information on a credit report, before you start disputing the account inaccuracies, the first thing you want to do, like Tony mentioned, is to dispute the personal information first. And that's what we call technical data, right? The personal data that is displayed on the personal information section of the credit report. All right. So with Experian, not sure if you guys heard me, but I'm going to repeat that again because it was a really great gem. On your Experian credit report, the personal information section has address identification numbers. So what you want to do is look at each address that is reported onto the credit report, all right, and compare it to which creditor is sharing the same identification number. So what you're doing is matching each identification number to the address that is being reported and the account that is being reported. If it is an account that you are currently paying and is reporting onto the credit report, and you see that that address identification number is reporting an outdated address that is associated to the credit report, then you want to contact that creditor and inform them to update that address to the current mailing address that you use. All right. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to detach that old address, which is going to allow you to be able to dispute it and get it removed with Experian. The same thing goes for any derogatory inaccuracy that's reporting onto the Experian credit report. That address identification number is going to be what Experian is pretty much going to use each and every time to associate you to that account and verify it, no matter how many inaccuracies are associated with that specific account alone. As long as that address identification number matches, they're going to say, hey, this is you, this is accurate. So what you want to do is, even the derogatory inaccuracies on the credit report, you want to make sure that you are detaching, all right, that outdated address from that identification number. All right. Once you do that first, is when you go back and start challenging those derogatory inaccuracies. Experian and TransUnion, they do not have that rule. So they're very lenient when it comes to challenging or requesting that outdated or incorrect address to be removed from the credit report. And that goes for employers, that goes for phone numbers, that goes for surnames, and of course addresses. So especially for the married ladies, when you are getting married, and or if you've gotten married and you are looking to carry your married name, or if you're going to hyphenate or what have you, you want to make sure that that information on your comes to challenging or requesting that accurate. And to go by that name when you're completing credit card applications, or if you're looking to finance, be sure to use their name. So whatever name that you are going to use to have your credit worthiness determined, that is the name that you want displayed on your credit report and driver's license as well.
All right, that's perfect. So, hold on one second. This thing is tripping. Do this. Hold on. So make sure we didn't get. All right, cool. All right, so I'm loving the game, right? Because you just told me something that I wasn't even aware of with Experian. So even though I've been doing this and I know how to get stuff off my credit, like even just how the IDs are being attached based off that actual account, and how in order to get that removed, you first want to update your address. That's a very very huge gem with being able to do that. I can't fix the popping. That's y'all commenting. If you don't want to hear the popping, stop commenting, and then we won't hear the popping anymore. So every time you hear a little pop, that's one of y'all that's I've been trying to fix it for that's why I'm messing up the screen and everything else, because I'm trying to get the clicking going. But very very huge gem, updating your address so that you can now remove an old address. That is a gem. So if you're paying attention, that is a very, very, very key nugget that I wasn't even aware of. Now, I want to ask you a question, right? There's many ways to remove items off a credit report. So you just gave us okay, let's get the basic information, let's get the updated files. Now, the pesky stuff. Like, okay, before we even get to like a repossession or bankruptcy, hey, I got some late payments, right? I got
Mhm.
an account, it's a positive account, but I missed a payment or two for whatever reason. What do you suggest? Am I just to blow up that whole account and try to dispute it and get rid of it? Like I know there's ways that you can. And one thing, just so you guys know, one tip that you can try is always, if you had a good payment history, is to reach out to that actual creditor and see if they'll give you a one time type grace period. But beyond that, what would you recommend as far as that type of account? Do we try to get that account removed because it has those negative items, or what would you recommend?
Great question. I do not recommend that, of course, because a few late payments versus all of the good deeds that you've done with, paying on that particular account is not worth having, that particular account removed from the credit report, especially if it is contributing to your credit history, right? And, with strengthening your overall credit profile. So, as you mentioned, of course, the goodwill letter, right? That is very, very effective, may I add, if you've maybe had like one or two late payments, during the duration of you having that actual account. Another thing that you can do is don't be afraid to find the CEO or the president on LinkedIn. I am really good at sweating people. So I want to find you. All right. And if I need something corrected on my credit report, I'm definitely going to reach out to the big wigs and I want to continue to stay on their neck to see what is it that they can do for me. All right. And the next thing that you could do is just because you were actually late, all right, doesn't mean that they correctly reported that onto the credit report. So, what I like to look at on the credit report, especially when there's a late payment or what have you, is to look at there's like typically two or three lines at the bottom that show payment history, and it shows you the payment history during the duration or the past couple of years that you've had that account. So sometimes you may have been late May of 2021, but they actually reported that you was late June of 2021. Well, although you were late, that information is still reporting inaccurately. All right. And this is a mishap that I see all of the time. So, what you would do is contact the credit bureau and say, hey, upon looking at my credit report, I see that this particular account is reporting me late June of 2021, and I was not late of June 2021. Please update this late payment to show, the truthfulness of this actual reporting. All right. So what then happens then, the credit bureaus either go ahead and update the information based off of what you stated, or they will actually contact the data furnisher. And when I say data furnisher, that is the actual creditor that is reporting information onto your credit report. And hence they may say, oh yeah, you know what, you're right. This person was not late June of 2021. It was actually May. They don't go back to update that actual late payment. They just go ahead and clear the entire, payment history for that duration of time. Now, that takes time as well. You also have to keep in mind the more recent negative activity that you do, all right. I like you just simply starting over, all right, because that information is there and it's not going anywhere, especially when it is fairly new. All right. So the next thing that I always recommend, that I always suggest, is to never surpass 30 days late. And if you do, it's going to take 12 consecutive on time payments for that one late payment to not be as damaging on the credit report.
So,
So if there's a late payment on the credit report that you are not able to challenge or get removed, simply continue to make on time payments so that it can just move farther back and not leave too much of a negative effect on the credit report.
all right. So, if somebody makes that late payment, I mean, misses that payment, they go past, and just so everybody knows, like we talked about this the other day, but some of you may have missed it. How credit works is you can actually be 30 days late, but you can't be 31 days late. After
Thanks.
after your 31st, that after that 30th day, on the 30th day, you can still make your payment, and it won't go and get reported to your credit report as a late payment. After that 30th day, now it will be reported as a late. So it's important, and it looks like you froze up there, Arnita. So it's important to understand that aspect. Let me get. Did we lose you? So if you see 30, 60, 90, or more, uh, those are all very, very challenging. I need to get Arnita back in here. Let's see what happened.
Can you see me?
There you go.
Okay, you was froze.
Oh.
Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
You know, we giving out too much. So you know what happens typically when you start trying to give out this type of game?
All the time.
And
Don't I know?
When you start trying to give out this type of game, you know, the internet guys don't want to work with us, right? But we were talking about the late payments, and I wanted to just I wanted to touch on a couple things. So we know that, okay, if somebody makes this mistake and they're beyond that 30-day late, is there any way, you know, like if I'm trying to get my house or something and I just lost, you know, sometimes if you don't have fairly established credit, a late payment can be 50 to 100 and something points. It could be a drastic drop. What is there any ninja tricks or anything that you would recommend, like if the goodwill letter doesn't work, and you know, what's like that desperation last heave type situation? Because I don't want to wait 12 months, right? A lot of us can't afford to wait a year because we ain't gonna make 12 payments straight, right?
Oh, I hope not. I mean, wait, no, you have to, like, especially in the lending world, from, you know, working with mortgage affiliates. That's one thing they don't play with. They're like, hey, in the, you know, in the midst of this home buying process, you know, from the time you are approved to the time of closing, we're not going to accept any late payments whatsoever, or you will no longer qualify for that mortgage. So one of the things that you just want to make sure of, and I don't play any games with that, that 30 day, and this is where you got to contact your lender, because some are 31 days, some say 30 day at 5 o'clock, at 1 p.m. Central, Eastern. You need to contact your creditor and ask them, hey, what day am I actually late? And you want to make sure that you are not surpassing that, because again, lenders want to know, what are you doing right now? How do you pay your bills right now? And if you cannot show them that you are consistent and responsible and disciplined to make your payments on time, and they feel like, hey, 30 days is more than enough time, so you mean to tell me your minimum payment is this, and you don't have that minimum payment set aside somewhere in a savings account or in a glove compartment up under the mattress to make this payment? Unfortunately, that is just how they look at it. And for me, in the 14 years that I've been doing this, if you don't have that goodwill letter, if you aren't able to contact the CEO to see if you can get that late payment removed from the credit report, if you cannot dispute it with the credit bureaus to get that credit,
Hold on. I'm gonna just pause you for 1 second, because you did mention this, and that was the other hack that I just let go right by. You gave a very, very huge gem. You're reaching out to the CEO. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Like, let's talk about that for a second. Like, that's it, because my bad earlier for not unpacking that, because I know a lot of people that might have went right beyond their head. You're finding the CEO of who, and what are you doing?
Oh, I'm finding them on LinkedIn. I can find their mamas. Okay. If I need this removed, I can pull a code red and find where you at. Okay. So oftentimes what people don't understand is, when you are disputing late payments, or let's say you want to call the creditor and say, hey, you know, I want to get this late payment removed in good faith, oftentimes you're talking to the CSR, you know, you're talking to the rep. And then if you say, well, you know what, I want to speak to the manager, oftentimes you're really about to get the lead. You know, it's going to take you a few steps before you actually get the person that you want to talk to, because oftentimes they can't even make that type of, you know, demand. All right. So What I highly recommend you do is two things. All right. For one, on your credit card statement where it shows dispute addresses, you can mail them a letter there, or you can find the CEO on LinkedIn, or a good Google search will get you to where you need to be. But LinkedIn has always been very effective for me when trying to get late payments removed off of good faith. And inside of my Luxurious Credit Society Facebook group, there are people who have shown the type of letters that they use, the people that they have contacted. One of the young ladies was in the midst of trying to close on her home, and she had like 5 or 6 late payments with Community Bank, and the CEO wrote emailed her back and literally agreed to remove every late payment that she has ever had. Also,
That's a
you
power
have to
move.
keep in mind that you aren't the only ones emailing them. All right. So you cannot write email or write them in 30 days and say, oh, they didn't respond. You need to follow up on that. I remember a couple of years ago, I had a late payment with Target, and I had I set it up on auto draft, but I didn't know that it took like 2 or 3 billing cycles for it to actually go on there. So I had a 30-day late payment. I was like, hold on, I ain't never been late with y'all. I don't play like that. Call customer care. They was like, oh no, there's nothing we can do about it. And it literally took about 4 months, all right, for me to get that late payment removed. But again, what are you willing to take? What is the risk that you're willing to go to ensure that that information is removed from your credit report? And I can tell you that when you are challenging recent late payments, it is no joke. So I just highly recommend that you try your best to never surpass 31 days late.
All right. Thank you. Like every time you say something, there's like another gym and another gym and then another gym and then another gym on top of that. So for y'all that missed this part right here, right, and this is in the dispute process and everything else, as you are disputing. Sometimes when you first reach out to that first person, you're talking to a customer service rep that has no authority whatsoever other than to
Absolutely.
just collect the debt. So if you're listening to what Arnita's telling, she's giving you some really, really key pieces that you want to pay attention to. In addition to that, it's consistency. Like it's not going to be the first call or the second call or the third call. A lot of times you have to follow up over and over again. Like nobody should care about your credit more than you. So, and they're
Absolutely.
not going to care about it more than you. So, what you want to do is to make sure that you are consistently following through with following up with these people. So, I really love that, Jim. Now, um, the other day I gave you guys a really, really powerful um, gem using creditboards.com. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with creditboards.com, but this is a website that basically is a forum that has all the forms and all the stuff that most people sell. Like it's in there for free. So if you got medical expenses or if you got, medical bills, if you got repossessions, there's literal forums with people who have, been through whatever you're going through. So um, you can use these type of resources, right? And more importantly, I want people to have more than one resource. I bought Arnita because I know what she is. I know like if anybody needs a direct connection of somebody that's going to be legit, somebody that's an expert in this industry. I wanted to give you a direct connection to somebody I know is going to get it done, but do it ethically. And you never have to look over your shoulder. Um, when it comes to like the bigger things, right? We got judgments, right? What strategies, and we know about opting out, and I want to talk. I see your face on that, right? So I want to ask you about opting out, and I'm asking y'all for. Listen, I'm trying to pull every bit of everything out of our need today, y'all. I'm talking about the real expensive stuff, right? Where people pay thousands, and this I'm sure she's been around a long time. These are some of the things that people are really really powerful with, right? So, what's your thoughts on like the opt out of like the secondary bureaus? We hear a lot of people talking about opting out of like the CoreLogics and things of that nature, and how does that play a role with judgments in your opinion?
Well, the truth to that is CoreLogic, Nexus Lexis, they are all credit reporting agencies. So you can't just opt out and feel that your information is going to be blocked from lenders or creditors or credit bureaus, getting access to it, because they have access to it on the back end. You also have to understand this. Credit bureaus or credit reporting agencies are also data furnishers, okay, to other agencies, and there are also subscribers to other credit reporting agencies. So let me explain that for you, okay? So everything on your credit report, all right, every account that is on your credit report besides public records, that information is paid to be there. You are not the credit bureau's clients. You are not their customer. The subscribers are, okay? And the subscribers are your creditors, these collection agencies, lenders. They subscribe to the credit bureaus to report and retrieve your information. So, for example, if there is information, so let's say there's a Capital One account. Capital One account Junior and Equifax, but it's not reporting to Experian. And you're like, well, hey, why not? Well, that's because Capital One subscribed, okay, to those particular credit bureaus to report that information. That's the only reason why it may not be reporting onto one. Collection agencies are notorious for that. All right, they may report to just one or two, or they may subscribe to one or two and insert that information onto the credit report. I get this often with auto loans, especially those tow your nose or buy here, pay here type of dealerships. They may not report your payment history onto the credit report up until you default. All right. So that may simply mean that they paid the credit bureau or credit reporting agency to retrieve your information, right? As far as an inquiry to see your credit worthiness, suffices them extending that auto loan to you. However, they're not going to report your payment history because they did not pay for that subscription up until, let's say, you default, and then they will. So you also have to keep in mind that these data furnishers, right, they pay to report and retrieve your information. So if you are thinking that I'm going to opt out of this information being reported onto the credit, to this credit reporting agency, just remember that these companies are paying for that data. They're paying for that information to be there. So you're not technically opting out of anything, and it doesn't stop the credit bureaus from looking at other credit reporting agencies' information because they're paying to retrieve that information. Another thing is, I see people do this a lot, and that is, well, I'm just going to block my credit report, or I'm going to put a security freeze on it. And that is not a true dispute tactic, because remember, again, they are paying the credit bureaus to report that information. So they are the ones that can actually see it. So when you are putting a security freeze on your credit report, or if you are opting out, what that does is stop other lenders from retrieving your credit report to determine your credit worthiness, but not the information that is already there, because that particular lender has paid the credit bureaus for that information to be there. Does that make sense?
All right. So with that being said, how the heck do we get the judgments and what's the steps like? Because
I like that.
like you said no. You said no essentially in a very educated way. So since you're saying no, how the heck do we get this shit off? Like we got to get it off. What are the steps to get a judgment off our report?
Well, guess what? Here's some news that you can use. The courthouse does not subscribe to the credit reporting agencies. So if there is a judgment, a tax lien, or bankruptcy that is on your credit report, that actual court did not pay to have that information there. They did not report that information onto the credit report. So how public records are able to be inserted onto your credit report is because it's just that it is public record. All right. So what they typically do is either go down to the courthouse directly, or they use public record databases and retrieve that information and insert it themselves onto the credit report. So the first thing that I like to do is anytime there is a public record onto the credit report, remember that is a judgment, a tax lien, or a bankruptcy. All right. First, you want to dispute it with the credit bureaus, right? There's two ways to this, but I like to do this first. I like to trip the credit bureaus up in a lot. So the first thing you can do is contact the credit bureaus and say, hey, upon looking at my credit report, this public record is not reporting correctly. You found an inaccuracy, but you do not tell them what the inaccuracy is. And you tell them that based off of that, you want to remove from your credit report, right? If it comes back verified as accurate, okay, is when you contact the courts, all right, who has that public record, and you say, hey, make sure you contact somebody in records. You create a call log, the time that you called, the date that you called, who you spoke to. You get someone in records and you say, hey, I disputed this public record on my credit report and the credit bureaus verified it as accurate. Do you report to the credit bureaus? Do you report information onto the credit bureaus? They're going to tell you no, because they do not. Or you can simply write a letter. All right. This always is a goodie one, because they're going to send it back on letterhead saying, hey, no, we don't report to any credit reporting agency. And then bam, that's what you have to send back to the credit bureaus and say, hey, how was you able to verify this information as accurate? How was you even able to report this public record onto my credit report in the first place when the courthouse does not subscribe to your agency? And due to this, it has to be removed from the credit report. And this has been 100% effective for us. 100%.
Ooh, I like that. Now, listen, I knew when I got you on the phone earlier that you had some smoke that you had in your kitchen, because you was cooking earlier. You cooked Rico up. Rico was texting me after we got off the phone. He was still, like, hey, look, I can do. He was like, she can't do it, all that, right? And you just gave me some game that I've been on credit board since like 2010 or something like that. I've been around. Because I've had bankruptcies, I've removed bankruptcies off my credit report, so I know like how challenging it is. And that was some very, very, very real game that you just dropped right there, right? And we got like 1,000 plus people here. Real quick, press the thumbs up in here if you think that was some powerful content. Like, what y'all doing? First off, hello, Arnita. Everybody's been commenting, like, where do we find this eloquent woman that's giving this game? What's up, Mayo? Hello, Arnita on Instagram. Also, her handle for her credit page is luxury. Give it to me.
Luxurious Credit.
Luxurious Credit.
Yes, sir.
So go to Luxurious Credit on Instagram, or hello, Arnita. You can follow her. I want you all to follow her. If you follow me, you support me. If you hear my voice, press that thumbs up button and make sure that you follow Arnita on social media, right? Don't put the thumbs up, like literally smash the thumbs up on the like button. Press the like button in the YouTube world. All right. So Arnita, we now have a way to 100% remove. Damn, that's powerful. 100% remove tax liens, judgments, bankruptcies off your credit report. And that was for free. And I know some of y'all in here in the comments right now got all that on your credit report because y'all ain't paid nobody back. Even you owe your moms and your cousins money. So I know that that's going to be a powerful tool. Now, I'm just going to keep asking. We're just going to keep asking today because I know this is really, really powerful. I know y'all was in here, y'all acting a little crazy. Y'all putting the thumbs up over there. Y'all crazy. And Arnita, like, there we go. Now I see the numbers going up for the likes, right? So Arnita just gave y'all literally 100% way to be able to get probably the most difficult in my opinion, which I mean, from my experience, it's been very, very hard to get judgments off. Um, now, her name on Instagram is Hello Arnita, and I will
Arnita.
and just for everybody, I will send out a text and an email with all her details where you can find her, all her social, and it will be pinned at the video at the bottom at the end. So I will make sure you'll find her. She'll be tagged on all my socials as well, because I'm telling you, like, financial literacy is important. Understanding credit is beyond one of the most important pieces to growing Black wealth, generational wealth.
Absolutely.
And too many people are literally preying on our own people on stuff that we should have access to. And I literally was on a call with somebody else, and I called Arnita, and she was more than willing to hop on here today to be able to take her time and come in here looking amazing, and then drop gym. Like, I mean, like, I'm about to use some of this shit on my own. Like, like, you hear me? Like, so she is really giving it to us. So I want to make sure y'all go follow her. Hello Arnita on Instagram, and Luxurious Credit. Those are her socials. They said that was a buffet you just served, and they full of tab. But hey, look, even though she served a buffet, like, now I'm trying to get some dessert, right? So we asked about how to get the late payments off. We asked about judgments. Now let's ask about, like, the one thing that everybody wants to know, like installment loans, student loans, things of that nature. Um, I know of student loans being removed. I've had my student loans removed off my credit report. Um, Before we do that, I want to do one thing before I do that, right? Can we talk about the importance of understanding the statute of limitations?
Absolutely.
Because
That's a good one.
like, most people don't talk about that, and because I got an expert here, I want to really just make sure I bring up some of the most important topics, because people, really overlook, like, the things that will make or break you in the credit industry, and definitely when it comes to knowing if you can get sued and things of that nature. So, what
Yes,
can you just speak on statute of limitations?
absolutely. So when it comes to how long a creditor has to sue you on an unpaid debt, that depends on the state in which you reside. Okay. So do not confuse the statute of limitation on how long a creditor has to sue you versus the statute of limitation, which determines how long negative information can remain onto your credit report. And some people assume that that is the last date that the account was open is 7 years from that date, or 7 years from the close date, or 7 years from the charge off date. And it is 7 years from the last date of activity.
Last date of activity. Yep.
It's 7 years from that. And I have challenged so many so-called experts in this industry. I mean, literally sat down with one of the biggest experts in this industry, and he said, no, it's the last date of the close. I said, no, it's not. It is the last date of activity. All right. I have witnessed with my own eyes, all right, people contacting creditors and choosing to make a payment or agreeing to make a payment, and that statute starts over. I've seen it. No payment was ever made, just the agreement to. I have seen old collection debt, all right, that had not been paid for 20 years, reach out to you and say, hey, pay this debt. And you agree to it, it reinserts onto the credit report, or it reports to the credit report, and it stays on there for another 7 years. There are some collection agencies that will even mail you this. I posted this on my page. It happened to me a couple of years ago. Midland Funding sent me
Midland Funding.
Midland Funding tried to get my mama for $19,000 a couple of years ago. And by the grace of God, I just so happened to go to my mother's house and I seen her on the phone with all her bills spread across and her checkbook on the phone with a collection agency. And I said, Mama, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, I had this old Discover bill. It was $19,000. And I'm on the phone with a collection agency. And they're saying if I don't pay it, they're going to take me to court. And I literally must have snatched that phone. But my mama was so freaking out. Like, no, don't call my mama. Like, communicate with us via post and mail. And I literally went back and forth with Midland Funding to get that $19,000 unvalidated debt removed from my mother's credit report. So I'm gonna go into that in a few because I gotta go back in order to move forward. So when it comes to the statute of limitations, it is the last date of activity. All right. So you do not want to go and start waking the dead. Oftentimes during tax season, when these stimulus checks was rolling out, these collection agencies and these creditors was reaching out to y'all left and right saying, hey, now is the time to do what's right and pay this old debt. And the minute that you went in and agreed to or started making payment arrangements, you have now tied yourself and associated yourself to that debt. And the time has reactivated and it's going to start over another 7 years. All right. So
can I just ask a point on that? And I think it's important when people are having creditors reach out to them, never assume that debt.
Absolutely.
Never.
It is all alleged.
It's all alleged. It's like allegedly you're talking to me. So like I just want to make sure I just mention that because a lot of people asked me that last night. They were asking like, "Hey, look, if somebody reaches out to me, if an attorney calls me, they still have the burden of responsibility to prove that you own that debt. So until they verify that debt, you don't own any debt. You everything is like, I want to get more information. I need you to verify this debt. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I do want to make sure people understand that piece.
Yes, because there is a difference between debt verification and debt validation. All right. So oftentimes when these collection agencies are reaching out to you, they cannot validate their debt within accordance of the law. They don't have any information on it whatsoever. I've seen this with my own eyes. These debts can be purchased, all right, from these collection agencies or these debt buyers from literally 10 cents on the dollar, all right, and turn around and attempt to collect from you for the full amount. So imagine a cable debt that you failed to pay, that cable company sold to a collection agency on a USB drive filled with thousands of people who hadn't paid them on an Excel spreadsheet for literally 3 cents on the dollar. All right. A lot of these collection agencies, which they call paper on their end, like your portfolio, any debts or information that they pull from the original creditor that you defaulted on, that is called paper in their world. And the more paper that's attached to that file, the more that portfolio costs. So a portfolio can go from 3 cents up to 10 cents up to $1, depending on what all the creditor attempts to attach to that file. For example, if they have your driver's license, if they have the actual agreement, if they have the billing statements or what have you. A lot of these collection agencies say, hey, these people don't ask for it no way. So just give me the Excel sheet with their phone number, the last address you had for them, and the amount that they owe, and we can do the rest. So oftentimes when they attempt to reach out to you to collect the debt, because that's all they can do within accordance of the law, all right, they are wanting you to provide more information over to them, for one. And for two, the next thing they want to do is just start paying, because as soon as you do that, they don't have to validate anything else because you have now agreed to that alleged debt.
Yep.
So when you see collection accounts on your credit report, the first thing you want to do is request debt validation. Prove to me that I legally have a binding association with you, because I didn't go into debt with you. I defaulted with the original creditor. So show me where you extended credit to me. Show me where I have done business with you. show me that you have the right to attempt to collect this alleged debt and that you were attempting to collect it from the correct person.
Mm-hmm.
That is your right. But if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. If you're in a rush to do something, then and you start binding yourself that you say, oh, well, you know what? Now I don't want to pay. Oh, okay. Well, now I'm gonna take you to court because you have now bound yourself to that. So it is very, very important that when you are talking to these collection agencies, that you are making them legally prove to you that they owe you. I mean, that you
And,
owe them.
and
Yes.
I said this last night. You don't need to be talking on the phone with them no way. All right. So
That.
one mistake a lot of y'all make is you get on the telephone, you're not prepared to have that type of conversation, and these people are trained to trap you. Like, so they're gonna try to say shit to piss you off. They don't care about nothing about what you got going
Yes.
on. They want you to start being
Yes.
disrespectful. They want you to own that debt so they can say, "Hey, I now verified this debt. I now verified that I have talked to Arnita." So when they call on my phone, hey, first off, any attempt to collect a debt, you need to keep it in writing so you can mail me only. Okay.
That's it.
And I don't know who you are, how you got my number, but you can only contact me through mail. So I
Yes.
instantly end all my communication over the telephone. Nobody should be having any type of back and forth or anything with a creditor or a debt collector without knowing what you're doing and making sure that they go through only mailing you. The next thing I'm gonna just give you as far as another tip is if you do have some money, and like Arnita mentioned, they start reaching out to you during tax time, and when they know that you have money, because it's a strategy, right? They want to get you when you got money. So if you say, hey, you know what, I want to get rid of this debt, and you just feel like it's upon you right now to get rid of that. Here's my tip, right? First off, the only way you agree to pay anything is if it's a letter sent to you with a deletion agreed. They have to send me a letter in writing that they agree upon paying in full that I will delete this off my credit report. Not put it as paid in full, not put it as paid as settled for less, but only as a deletion off my credit report. More importantly, with being able to do that, you're still not assuming that debt, right? So I've literally had conversations where I sat on the phone with them and I said, hey, look, I don't know whose this shit is, but right now it's keeping me from being able to do X, Y, and Z in my life. I have good credit. I have great credit worthiness. I've never had to deal with this before, and you guys are now keeping me from being able to move forward with my life, and it's hurting my credit worthiness. So I am willing to pay this, but I want you to agree to delete this item off my credit report, and you have to send it to me in writing. If they tell you verbally, that shit don't mean nothing. Let me just be perfectly clear. If they don't put that bad boy in writing, whether it's email or fax, I don't care what they say. They can tell you whatever. A job of a debt collector is to get money, and then they'll put that paid for less or satisfied, and it's an ugly mark still on your credit. It's still a charge off. You want to get that item deleted. So you want to make sure that you understand that, okay? I just want to make sure I added that because I know so many people, they get excited when they get their money. They're like, hey, you know what, F it, I'm gonna pay it and I'm gonna get this off my back, and they don't realize that they're actually now locking themselves in to that debt and the charge off.
Yes. And you also have to keep in mind that collection agencies sell their debts to other collection agencies. So you want to make sure that if you're doing a pay per or pay for deletion, that you're doing it with someone who can actually validate that debt. Because this happened to me when I first started to repair my credit. A collection agency resold my debt, and it was resold through from the original creditor to enhanced recovery, from enhanced recovery to LVNV funding, from LVNV funding to NCO Financial.
Oh yeah, they get down, they get busy.
Collection agencies, if they can't collect, they'll resell the debt. Mm-hmm. So you have to keep that in mind. So if you're saying to yourself, and I see this a lot, people turn around and say, just like some say, oh, well, you know what, just get out of my head, I'm gonna go ahead and pay it. Don't ask for no deletion or nothing. And then what they'll do, because they couldn't validate the debt anyway, right? And some of them just don't care. They'll resell it to somebody else. Correct. Or they'll resell the portion that you didn't pay. So if you went in the settlement for $100 and they said, "Oh, okay, well for $70, we'll settle the debt here," well, they'll resell or they'll sell that $30 balance over to that next collection agency, and then they will attempt to come after you to collect on that debt.
And just so y'all were clear, you don't negotiate or anything until they've already verified that you own that debt, right? I wanted just to make sure, like, cause some of y'all be just getting excited. You get that money, you ready to move and get it off. You like, I just want to be over with. You don't
Right.
pay just the charge off because it won't be deleted, and you want it deleted. That's the most important piece. I just
And
want to make
also,
sure
I
I add
want to
that.
add, I'm sorry, don't want to cut you off. Especially when you were looking to purchase a home, they actually watch your credit report. All right. So if you ever notice, let me know down in the chat if you have ever applied for a home loan and during the home buying process, a new collection account hits your credit report or a collection agency just out of nowhere reaches out to you. Well, that's because if your credit report was non-active or what they call dead, and what that typically means is there had not been any activity, and then they're tracing and looking at your credit report and they see that a home loan inquiry has just been pulled, oh, they coming after you. Because they just feel like, hey, we know what this means. They trying to help and get a house. They not gonna ask us nothing. They just gonna go ahead and pay it, no questions asked. And again, you have to do a pay for deletion. All
Very
right. Because
important. Pay for deletion.
you also want to keep in mind, even if you settle the debt and it pays and the report settled, it's gonna update and it's still going to be negative, and it can, in turn, lower the credit score. So if a mortgage broker tells you, or the mortgage broker tells you, hey, you need to pay this debt in order to qualify, then you want to be very clear and you want to get this in writing, all right? And you want to tell them, okay, that's fine, but if it is not deleted from my credit report and it updates and it makes my credit report worse, will you still approve my loan in underwriting? Because underwriting is the people who is really giving you the no and go on that home loan. So if underwriting is not going to, approve it, if you pay in settlement, then that's just something that I just may hold off on because it may deter you from getting, another home loan in the near future.
Yeah. So that's really, really powerful. I mean, we're giving away some game right now, but more importantly, I'm reading the comments, Arnita, and they're getting blown away. And I'm reading people who have never heard this before, and I'm hearing people that are reading that, hey, oh no, I just paid somebody off a few months ago. So it's people in different places right now, and they're learning, um, um, on the go. And this is why this is important because there's so many people that really have never been educated on credit, or obviously life happens, and then when life happens, you don't know how to get yourself out of some of the stuff that you got yourself into, and then you feel like for 7 to 10 years you got like a nightmare behind you, right? That's a long time to be have a negative item kind of running after you, and that's the importance of understanding. Like, don't get yourself in situations where you're over leveraged in debt, trying to do too much because it takes 7 years, to get this stuff off if you don't know what you're doing. Um, a topic that and a piece of information that I wanted to touch on as well was, a lot of people, definitely last year experienced a lot of medical expenses. People always, always, always struggle with medical bills.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've seen in the comments over and over again, people like, how do I get the medical? What steps for the medical? Um, there's many things. There's resources that you can get, forgiveness. You can get programs that help you pay. But once you actually have that medical bill, that's a collection, right? Uh, what steps or tips do you have for the people that that you would recommend once they're there, like they're in the collection phase?
I would request that that account be sent back to the original creditor. Okay, I would request that medical collection debt be sent back to whoever gave it to them. All right, and then from there, I would dispute it with the credit bureaus. I would also request debt validation with that collection agency and start making payments with the actual provider. But this happened to me last year during my cancer journey. This happened a couple of years prior. After I had my twins, the assumption is insurance is going to pay this or so and so is going to pay that, and it doesn't happen. And then they start coming after you. And what I always do, especially when it comes to medical debt, is request that medical debt be sent back to the provider. So if a collection agency attempts to reach out to you to collect on a medical debt, the first thing that I would say in writing is you are refusing this debt, all right? And to send it back to whoever sent it to them. Because again, you don't know if the actual medical provider gave that information. You would be surprised how many hands it go through or how many accidents typically happen, to where it falls in the hands of these collection agencies. All right. So you want to request that medical debt is sent back to the provider. All right. And again, just like you were requesting debt validation on any other debt, all right, I literally say I'm not going to go into agreements and bind myself to a medical debt that I know for a fact I didn't get service through you. So send it back to the provider. All right. Request debt validation, dispute it if it's reported onto your credit report, dispute it with the credit bureaus, and start making arrangements with the actual provider who you seek actual services from.
So is I know I just want to make sure I'm clear on this because I know this is a new one for me. Like you just gave me something. Like you keep dropping gems, right? Send that shit back. That's a send that shit back letter, right? That's what we gonna. That's what we gonna call that one. The send that shit back letter. So in the send that shit back letter, that's the new one, right? What I'm just saying, hey, what all language is important in that? Hey, I'm disputing this, and I want to send back to the original creditor. Like, what all are you putting?
Yeah, I mean, you would say it just like if you was on the phone, and you were saying it is literally, I do not owe you. I am not in agreement with you. Send this debt back to whoever gave it to you, because I don't know who that is. I don't know you. Like you just, that's like anybody walking up to me right now saying that I owe them money on something that I know I made. Like, no. Okay, so we all know we got that one relative that is known in the family for borrowing money but never paying them back. All right, and let's just say that that particular relative owed Keisha $50. And then Keisha said, girl, you know what? I don't even have time to, deal with right now. Can you go get my $50? And I walk up the room and say, hey, I'm collecting that $50 from Keisha. You're gonna be like, hold on. But Keisha was the one who put the money in my hand. Keisha is the one who provided the actual service. So I'm not saying that I don't owe Keisha. I'm saying I don't owe you. So you go back to Keisha and tell her that if she want to get her money back, she needs to holler at me personally. That's exactly how it works in the collection agency, space. That is, I don't have a business relationship with you. I don't have any ties to you. But the moment I go into agreement, then I do. So no, send that mess back to whoever gave it to you and do not contact me again. Close this in your office. If you cannot legally bind me, if you cannot legally provide legal supporting documents associating me to this debt, remove it from my credit report, close it in your office, and cease communicating with me because I don't owe you. And it's just that simple. Like there's no Dear John letter. There's no, you don't have to custom it. You don't have to say according to such a law.
Because I'm used to all the debt. I'm used to all the debt validation letters. With all the language and all. So this is different. You just say, hey, look, I don't owe you nothing. Send that back to the people that's alleging I have this debt.
Send it back. And there's another thing I want to add too, especially with the credit bureaus, and you don't have to say according to section this, and that. They know these sections, all right? You are going to write your letters as if a well-educated consumer wrote it. because an educated consumer did. It needs to be just one page. You don't have to go into, oh, my dog died, oh, this happened. They don't care about that. They're not reading past that. Just get to the point of what you want them to do.
So,
It really is that simple. For
Arnita,
anyone that is here that may have my luxurious credit guide, it's a do-it-yourself, smaller pocket guide, and it has my actual dispute letters that I use during my own credit repair journey and those for my clients. And they'll tell you in the chat, it really is that simple. You talk to them like we talk to each other.
so Arnita, a lot of people are like confused because they're like, "Hey, I remember you supposed to write HIPAA letters. Like you just gave me some because that's what back in the day, that's what I was, I was on the HIPAA letters and the, all that. So you just told me to send it back trick. Like I've never heard to send that back trick. You just gave me game, right?
Yes,
So is the HIPAA shit gone? Is that over with? Is that?
I mean, when or if the medical service provider is sending your information to the collection agency, they are not sending them your medical records. So that HIPAA is pretty much non-existent. The only thing they're sending over is the data service and what you owe. They're not saying, oh, this person has cancer, or this person came in for this, or this person had pneumonia, or this person had COVID, this person had a heart attack, this person had a baby. That's not how that works. It is literally, this is what they owe, this day that they came in and to collect this.
Amanda Davis said, "Ooh, this live has snatched my edges back some inches."
It's the truth. You send it back. You requested it be sent back, but a lot of us don't know how to do that. So we start communicating with these collection agencies. We start going back and forth with them when all they need to do, especially when it comes to medical debt, is to send it back to the service provider. In fact, one of my friend girls was trying to get a rental property, and that medical debt was one of the things that was hindering her when she had her child. And there were literally like 15 to 20 medical collection accounts on the credit report, and I requested they send all of those debts back, in which they did, and we disputed them from the credit report. Case closed.
That's amazing. Hey, look, we got 985 people that have liked this. We're almost at 1,000. Can y'all guys smash that like button real quick so we can get over 1,000 people that like this video already? Arnita has been giving us so much value. We got people going crazy, right? And people going to want to know how they can connect to Arnita. I've already told you once or twice, but I'm even at the end, we're going to talk about, we still got a $2,000 giveaway that we're going to do. So keep staying on here, right? Make sure. Hey, look. First off, if you haven't hit that like button, you don't have a chance of winning $2,000, and that's disrespect to the amount of value of what's being put out here right now for helping you get your credit established, helping you really understand how you can get the negative items removed and things of that nature, right? And Arnita is an expert that's been doing this for years and helped thousands of people all over the world get their credit removed, repaired, and in a better situation, right? Financial literacy is really, really important. And I think like having access, right? I just seen somebody talk about, they want to name drop people and talk about who's the GOAT in the credit game and all this other stuff. And we can talk about whatever you want to. You can say whatever name you want to. But having access to financial information is one thing. Pricing yourself out here to make sure to position yourself as the best is another thing. To really be able to deliver value on shit that's like tangible is another. And I think a lot of people get this stuff confused because in the credit industry, there's people that are teaching you how to fucking scam, right? And there's people that's teaching you how to do it ethically. So when I talk my shit, I never had to look over my shoulders. Like, I'm talking about how to do it ethically, like with having integrity, right? Because there's people that can help you shortcut. There's ways that you can clean your credit sweeps. We can talk about that, and we'll talk about the FTC affidavit here in a little bit. We'll talk about using the Consumer Protection Bureau and more. But I think the CFPB and more. But we want to make sure that what you're doing is ethical, where you don't have to worry about the feds coming knocking on your fucking door.
Absolutely.
Right? Because one thing that a lot of people don't talk about is when you practice some of these shortcuts, there's consequences behind it. And
Absolutely.
you know, a lot of people have accelerated really quickly by being unethical. What you're getting access to right here today, this lady hasn't charged you a single dime, and she's giving you stuff that I haven't even heard before. And I'm very well versed in the credit industry. I won't say I'm an expert, but I ain't no dummy, and I've been in it. You know,
Right.
I've been in it. Like I understand this game very, very well. And when it comes to people like yesterday, I had a lady that came out. She was super excited. Hey, you know, I've had a couple of CPNs, and she's all excited. And somebody is online making people think that you can go out here and create credit profile numbers, fake social securities, and because rich people have done it and got away with it, you believe that your black ass can get out here and go get a fake number, put fake social security, fake address, and build up a fake profile and think that the Fed's not going to come knocking on your door. It's illegal. You will go to jail. And there are people that are literally educating people and telling you, like, yeah, this is a way that you can, they talk about finessing or whatever it might be. Let me tell you something. You will go to jail. And I want to make sure that you understand a credit profile number, CPN, fucking illegal. You hear me, right?
And it's Fed time.
Illegal. Like, I don't care what nobody tell you. I don't care how many followers they got. I don't care how flashy they shit look. Right? They can put on all the bling, and I know I got mine on, but my shit, I don't play the funny business, right? But but when I tell you, if you go and get a CPN and you start putting your name down as somebody that you know you're not doing and getting credit and not paying for it because your intent is never to pay for it, it's a scam. So you think them people gonna let you run off with 50 to 100, 200,000? The Fed's gonna come looking for your ass. Like, so I like just having transparency as we do this. Now, the next piece, and Arnita, I know we're in the full agreement on the CPN. So I don't know. Think you even need to? Do you have anything else you want to add on that, or?
Um, yeah, the only thing that I want to add is I don't think enough people talk about the people who are getting caught. And these are everyday people who are getting caught. These are single moms, these are family people who were desperate. And I can tell you that in these type of situations, I was literally just telling Tony this morning, there was a young lady who just got out of jail last week. Okay, reached out to me because she was going to she found somebody on Instagram who has all these followers, and they have connections to celebrities, what have you. And she signed up for their credit repair services, and they had her file a fraud affidavit, police report, and they came to her house and picked her up. So she paid $1,500 so her get her credit fixed, but then have to turn around and pay $7,000 for an attorney to keep her free. And I might want to add, especially those who are getting these CPN numbers, they are waiting for y'all to just pile this stuff up so they can hit y'all with all kinds of crazy, atrocious charges. And I'm telling you straight up, they are not going after these credit repair companies. They are rarely going after the people who are telling you to do these things, because you are the one that are completing out these applications and you're signing your John Hancock at the bottom and agreeing to this. They're locking y'all ass up. So I'm telling you, it is nothing to play with. And being in this industry for over 14 years, slow and steady wins the race. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And this is your 9-digit number, your own 9-digit number, and your life on the line. No one's bad credit, and not even yours, is worth your freedom. So do not jeopardize that.
And I just seen another comment. We got a couple fans of some other credit guys in here. And that's fine. Like, you can support, whatever community, whatever you like. Let me just be clear with you. I see you said that you got $75,000 in funding in 3 months. That's not jack shit. Just so you know, that's easy money. And when you know how to do this stuff properly, like, you can get hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, so I think when you start coming and you got people in here that really do this stuff and been around it for a long time. Sometimes just you don't have to come in and promote. Just pay attention, because you might learn something that you didn't learn in one of those other programs. Because I'm not here to knock another program. I'm here to educate
Absolutely.
people who are actually needing this information, right? So good for you and all the success that you got, but you know it's a lot more that you can be had. I mean, 75 grand. I mean, you can get 25,000 just open a Navy Federal account. I know everybody in the world is teaching that right now. If you know what
Man,
credit unions to go to, you can get that double a couple of times. If you know what credit
absolutely.
card companies you can go to, you can get it's just a game, right? So funding is another thing. Let's talk about funding for a minute because I know a lot of programs that are really big on funding. You load up a profile. We know the game. You load up a profile, you get a percentage on the back end. The hustle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I say all that to say there is the right and the correct way to go about everything. And honestly, you know what's right and what's wrong. I mean, you know this. So this is really no shocker. Like, we are all adults, we all pay bills. We all know what we are supposed to be doing. We all know it's going to be kickbacks. It's going to always be somebody on the back end that can say, I can do this, I can do this. Always going to be a black market to something. And my thing is, it's not a matter of if, it is truly a matter of when you're gonna get caught in this. And it's just not worth it. And true enough, there are some who may never do, but don't take that type of risk. It is so much worth it to be able to get it legally and strategically in your own name without having to pay people tens of thousands of dollars. Like Tony said, hey, we know that same game. You do not have to go out here and pay people thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to get the same game or some cheat sheet or cheat code that we are literally
Hey,
simply
look,
giving y'all for
and
free.
I can keep it a buck because I don't mind hurting nobody's feelings. Half this shit is recycled off creditboards.com. Like y'all be up here hyping up people that you don't know where they got their information from. That shit, like I call that shit what it is. Creditboards.com on a duplicate. You know, the forum, the whole forum setup and everything. Some of your people that you hyping up, they ain't do nothing but go regurgitate somebody else's shit and put it online because you ain't know no better. So like, just relax, enjoy it. You know, the free game. A conversation I keep saying over and over again. Dorothy must really be going through it right now. So let's look at this. Evictions, right? Um,
Okay.
evictions, kind of that same thing. How do we get these off our credit report?
So again, anything on your credit report that is not reporting accurate, timely, verifiable must be removed from the credit report. So what I always do is when it comes to eviction, there are two things. So when there is an eviction that is on your credit report, is it just from the actual collection agency standpoint, or was you actually sued and taken to court and then it turns into a judgment? Well, we all know if the eviction had taken you to court and it's a judgment, we already know what we can do about that, right? Because
Right.
even if it was an eviction, all right, that was settled out in and that judgment is on the credit report, although it is an eviction, all right, it is still a public record. You already know what to do. We talked about that, right? Now, if it is an eviction that is in the hands of a collection agency and it is reporting onto the credit report, this is where you go the debt validation route. You can also request the actual lease agreement. Look through there and see if there are any inaccuracies. Oftentimes, even if it's an eviction and that property or that management company sold that debt to the collection agency, the same ground rules applies. All right, they must send you the proper legal supporting documents attaching you to that information in an attempt to collect that alleged debt from you. It doesn't matter whether it's an eviction, it doesn't matter whether it's a repo, it doesn't matter if it's a student loan, the same rule applies. And here's something else I want to add. In the credit bureau world, it's all data to them. Nothing weighs heavier than the other. All right. It's us who has chose to say, okay, well, this weighs more than the other, or this can't come off the credit report, or this cannot happen. And again, the law specifically states that anything on your credit report that is not accurate, verifiable, reporting timely must be removed from the credit report. There's no if, ands, or buts about that. So it doesn't matter what type of account it is, it still applies to that same rule.
Mm-hmm. So, there you go, Dorothy, and anybody else that was trying to figure out the eviction process. If you paid attention, you got that game.
Oh, and one more thing I want to add with that eviction. All right. Just because it's reporting onto your credit report, you want to check to see if it's reporting to your rental report and which rental reporting agency it's reporting to. So you have like RealPage, Choice Point, and the best way that you can find that out is Lead Pages, I believe. If you are looking to get another apartment or to rent property, ask them what rental reporting agency they use. You do have the right to request a free copy of that report as well. So don't just think
Hold on,
of
excuse me,
a
excuse
credit
me,
report.
hold on, excuse me. I ain't never heard this one before. Gym alert,
Yes.
gym alert. Hold on, y'all. So what's the websites of the sources for this one?
So there's Rent Bureau, there's RealPage, there's Choice Point, LexisNexis. There are a ton of rental reporting agencies. All right, tons of them. All right, and these rental properties and these landlords, they can subscribe to whichever one they want. So before you start looking for another place to stay, all right, you want to also be sure that you were disputing that eviction, or if you owe an apartment, what have you, you want to dispute that with that particular bureau too. So before you complete, an apartment application or a rental application, the first thing you want to ask is, hey, are you going to pull some type of rental reporting agency or rental bureau? And they're going to say, oh, yes, we use Choice Point or RealPage or whomever. Then you get that information and you request a copy of that report to see what is all on it, and you have the right to dispute it as well. So the Fair Credit Reporting Act doesn't just protect you from the credit bureaus, but any data reporting agency that retrieves and report your information, they fall up under there as well.
I'm not lying, y'all. This the best freaking free credit shit I have ever been exposed to in my life. I'm learning stuff, and I've been like really on the credit piece for a long time. This is wow. Hey, hello Arnita on Instagram, Luxurious Credit on Instagram. Hello Arnita on Instagram, Luxurious Credit on Instagram. Y'all better make sure you go follow my girl right now. She has been in here going crazy with gems. I mean, I didn't even know about some of those secondary bureaus as far as
Absolutely.
for rental. Very, very, very powerful. Um, Sheesh, you coming in with the heat. You coming in super hot with it. I know why you wouldn't put yourself together because you planned on snatching wigs today. You wasn't playing, huh? Oh my goodness! Make sure you smash that like button right now. If you're in here right now, make sure you press that like button. Arnita is in here giving amazing, amazing game. I think we're gonna go about another 15, 20 minutes. I don't want to keep it
Sure.
much longer. I've been like, wow. I typically do an hour. I know we probably approaching two at this
Oh,
point,
wow.
and it doesn't even feel like it because you
No,
have
it
been keeping
don't.
it like literally, literally on fire the entire time, right? Um, so one of the topics I see a lot of people ask me about all the time, we actually talked about it earlier today, the trade line business, right? And people are, yeah, it's a very y'all got to understand, like with anything with credit, like it's a lot of money involved because a lot of people know that there's growth involved, so it's a lot of shady shit that comes when you get involved with the trade line business, and um, trade lines are legal. They legal. You Leagal. I can't spell.
Mhm,
Legal,
mhm.
not illegal. But there's a lot of gray area, and there's a lot to be careful of. There's so much behind it, and we talked about some of the pitfalls of trade lines. Trade lines, authorized users, and things that can give you huge spikes in your credit report. If you don't have any credit at all, or you're sharing somebody's credit, authorized users can be very, very powerful. You get shared credit history. But let's talk about like some of the good and the bad that come along with trade lines. I heard you tell me a story earlier about a shared experience with somebody that used a credit company and then they had a nightmare. Uh, I want to just give people both
Absolutely.
the good and the bad that go along with that.
Okay, so let's start with the good. All right. And the good is just as you stated, right? They also call it piggyback riding in our world. You piggyback ride off of someone's good credit card, and then that information is reported onto that other individual's credit report. And yes, it has amazing plus to it. My mother did it for me. I've done it for my friends. I do it for my children. All right. For people that I know that I am close with. All right. I have added them on to my credit card as authorized users to help them establish or re-establish credit. I am also aware that by adding them on to my credit card as an authorized user, I am giving them access to use that card. So if you are extending your trade line or you're selling your trade line to someone which is also against your credit card users agreement. All right. So no, it is not illegal. However, if your credit card institution finds out, they can close your account and any other individual whose name was on that authorized user account. If they have an individual account with that credit card issuer, they will exhaust their credit services as well, or should I say just close out the credit card period, which will hence going to drop your credit score, is going to drop their credit score as well. So I if I cannot get it in my own name, and if it's going to cause any type of, me being unethical or, me doing something that can, harm me or someone else in the long run, I'm just not going to do it. But when I've been doing this for just 14 years and I've just established myself, in this industry, and I just don't want to jeopardize that. So I'm always going to tell you to do the right thing. And if anybody saw it, God saw it. So I'm just really, really big, and conscious when it comes to stuff like that. So I just don't move that way. All right. The next thing is that you have to understand with those trade lines is they belong to somebody. And someone may or may not know that that line is being used. So two things. I literally just shared this morning. But let me go back with another story. So one of my friends who was in credit repair, Capital One is just notorious for allowing anybody, to be added on to an authorized user. So one of my friends had a credit repair company, and for literally like the past 7 to 8 years or so, he was selling his trade line. So basically, what that mean is, for about $1,700, he had like a $30,000 credit limit with Capital One. The utilization was very low, like 1%. It was very aged, maybe like 20 some odd years. So him selling that trade line for $1,700, his client can buy it. He'll add his client onto that credit card, and then hence that individual would obtain, that, good credit card history. And then from there, they'll wait a minute, wait a while. And then that individual client will go ahead and start establishing credit with Capital One and other credit card issuers. All right. Now, mind you, he had been doing this for like 7+ years, made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it. And all it takes is one person. All right. So that particular individual that he sold that trade line to called him and was like, "Hey man, I just noticed that this $30,000 Capital One card on my credit report. Like, where is that card at? Like, how can I use that?" And my friend was like, "Nah, man, it don't work like that. Like, that's the trade line that you bought." So the guy was like, "Well, how does the trade line work then? Like, if it's onto my credit report, can I use it? Like, isn't it mine?" And my friend was like, "Well, no, I'm just extending, that credit card account to you so that it can help your credit report. But no, you do not have access to use the card." So the homeboy did a little research, ended up calling Capital One, And Capital One told him, he said, hey, I'm on this particular person's credit card, and I'm an authorized user. Do I have permission to use it? And they was like, as an authorized user, yes, you do have that authority. So they told him, well, I mean, if your name is on there, you are authorized to use the card. So called my friend back, told him the same thing. The client ended up calling Capital One back and told Capital One that he paid $1,700 to be on that particular trade line. Capital One closed my friend credit card account. He had 3 other credit cards with Capital One, closed all of those, closed everyone's accounts who had been with Capital One from the whole duration of him selling those trade lines. There were clients who were in the midst of trying to close on their homes and get loans or what have you, and it fell through because those accounts were closed, or that that particular trade line was removed from the credit report. So, mind you, those people was trying to meet my friend in the streets, and he does not do credit repair anymore, just for the simple fact that there were people who were literally trying to physically hurt him because of what happened. And let me also add that every individual who had Capital One that was added onto his card as an agent during the duration of him selling those trade lines, they closed their primary accounts as well. All right. Now, that's that story that I just love to tell, because I'm telling you, they don't play like that. All right. Now, literally, this happened to one of my friends. She went to a credit repair company. She bought a trade line from this credit repair company, and I literally told her, hey, that trade line belongs to somebody, okay? Whether it belongs to them or somebody in their world or their database, and that person may or may not know that their trade line is being used for this type of matter. And she blew it off. She ended up purchasing trade lines through this credit repair company. She ended up establishing credit and ended up getting a Discover credit card. She went to add her fiance onto her credit card as an authorized user, and noticed that there were 9 other authorized users on her Discover credit card that she did not know. So she contacts me and say, hey, you know, what could this possibly be? And I'm like, it could very well be that the credit repair company that you went to is now using your trade lines, and, you know, they're selling your account information and they're adding other people onto your credit card as authorized users, and you did not give them permission to do so. Of course, she contacted that credit repair company, and they said that they didn't know what she was talking about, and, you know, it's not true, boom, boom, boom. And she ended up removing those people from her account and ended up closing that card. I said, but you have to keep in mind, they can still add them on, or any other credit card that you apply for in the future, because they
got
have
all your
your
information.
information.
Hey, look, this is crazy, right? And you just keep piling on. I think these stories are powerful because people need to know, like, the pitfalls of doing this. So you can't use trade lines, and I'm telling you, like, it's just doing it with someone that you trust. Finding trusted sources is very, very important. Another question I seen, because I want to keep you on here all night, Arnita. Somebody asked about uh, uh, the age that you can add children. You can add really at any age. You can add. It depends on each card. So depending on what card that you have, that will depend on the age. But you don't have to be 18 to add your children, and they can start building and establishing credit right now.
Absolutely.
One thing that I know I wanted to touch on, because I kept seeing somebody ask this over and over again. They asked about getting negative items off, like a LexisNexis, for example. Is there a way to remove negative information off LexisNexis?
Absolutely. They are a credit reporting agency. So the same rule applies to them like it does with the 3 major credit bureaus. You have the right to dispute that inaccuracy and request that it be removed or updated, whatever you want the outcome to be. And if not, you have the right to report them to the Attorney General, the Federal Trade Commission, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. And that's nothing that I want to add, that you also have to keep in mind that these reporting agencies make money off of our information, all right? Especially if that information is derogatory and if it is negative, because they know that the more damaging our credit report, the more profitable it becomes to lenders. All right. So a credit report with a credit score of a 700 may cause a lender 30 cents to buy, but someone who has subprime credit with, more negative information attached to it, that credit report may be as much as $3 because they know that these lenders, the credit bureaus or the credit reporting agencies know that these lenders are going to turn around and charge these people higher interest rate APRs, request cosigners, and down payments. So that data becomes more profitable. So you want to keep in mind that you have the right, no matter what bureau it is, they are mandated by the Fair Credit Reporting Act. You have the right to dispute that information on that report as well. Any data collecting company that is reporting your information, you have the right up under the FCRA to dispute that information. And you also have the right to escalate those disputes if they are now ruling in your favor, knowing for a fact that that information is indeed inaccurate. You do have the right to escalate that to the government agencies because that's what they're there for.
All gems. Now, I seen somebody that put this, and I had to just share it. Ryan said, "I've learned more within the past week than he did in his whole life about credit and business." And you know, obviously, it makes me feel good that I've been able to help some people. But what you've shared today, like, I'm so thankful because I think first and foremost, because it's on YouTube, I'm gonna make sure people can watch this over and over again. This has been powerful. Like, you have literally not held back on any question. I mean, you've been given real tangible things that we can do in order to execute and get money. I just want to answer a question I seen somebody ask. If you co-sign for somebody, how do you get off? You got to refinance. So that means you can't co-sign with the thought of getting out. The only way you're getting off, that shit's paid off or you refinance. So if you win, you win. So when you co-sign for somebody, just know if they can't make that payment, you better be able to make that payment. Because if not, you're gonna mess up your credit. And most of the time, when people um, are needing a co-signer, is because they can't pay for the shit that they're trying to get in the first place. So they need to get themselves in a better situation. So don't go get your girlfriend that you think that y'all gonna be together forever, no co-sign car, or your boyfriend that you think, or you cut like nah, because you're gonna hate them and you're gonna have that car payment and you're gonna be stuck and you're gonna be in a bad spot. The next thing I want to jump on before we start the giveaway, I keep saying a couple questions. So for funding, Navy Federal, all that stuff, that's going to be in another class. I'm not talking about funding today. We're going to be more on the tangible, removing credit, repairing your credit, understanding credit. So that's what I want to pay attention to today. You guys are very welcome. Hello Arnita on Instagram is where you can find Arnita. She has been dropping gem after gem after gem after gem. I want to make sure you all go connect with her on Instagram. Also, Luxurious Credit. She has her actual, I'm about to say real estate. I teach real estate. Her credit repair services and company, which we will talk about a little bit right here at the end, because I think for some of you, you might want to go ahead and not do it on your own. You want to find a trusted source. So I'll plug that for her in a minute. But hello Arnita on Instagram, Luxurious Credit on Instagram. I want you to go follow both of those pages. Also, we got 1,460 likes in here. Can we get 1,500 real quick?
Yay.
Can we get 1,500 likes in here real quick?
I'm glad y'all enjoying yourself.
Yeah, they've been showing mad love, and it's been super dope. Like, once again, when I seen you on the FaceTime earlier, you was in the bed, you had your scarf on, you know, you had your glasses on. You done came in this mug like whip whip. You came in here to fucking. You wasn't fucking around today, okay? You are like, let me show you how I come out. She Clark Kent, Superman. This joint, she not playing. And I'm so thankful that you came out here with real game. It's been 2 hours of actionable, real deal content, and that I can't thank you enough. If you're already following her, Go tell her I love you in the comments. Let her know that you just watched it live. Like, go spam her page, right? You wanna
I
show
love y'all
appreciation.
right back.
Like some of y'all,
I
like
appreciate this. Like,
I
I mean,
yeah, it's
it's
crazy.
not too. I got to give you your flowers real quick because these are the type of discussions that need to be had, and to be able to have a platform where people can, feel confident, comfortable, and judge free, and not feel ashamed and embarrassed to ask these type of questions. It's a godsend for real. So you are truly contributing to plenty of generations to come, and enlarging our community on the importance of wealth, credit, and finance. So kudos to you. Like, it's indeed an honor to be here, to be in this type of space, because this is a passion of mine. And I've been there. I know what it's like. I've been on food stamps, Medicaid, during there, homeless. I know what it's like to go without, and I know what it's like to be here. So my assignment is just to help my people and to help people, period. But definitely those who feel like they can't help themselves, because I was once, one of those people. So it's enough room for everybody, to be able to use their good name and, use their name as capital, and be able to do the exact same thing that they see everybody else out here doing. So I appreciate that.
So two things I gotta ask major questions, credit repair uh, questions that people always go on, right? So the 609 letter we hear talked about all the time. I want you to talk about that letter. Is it effective in your opinion? Does it
Okay.
work? I'm gonna ask you those. I'm gonna let you answer that, and then I'll come back to the next question.
Okay. Well, if you look at section 609 of the FCRA, it doesn't talk about disputing. Okay, it's actually 611. So if there's any type of letter out there, um, it would actually be the 611 letter. And the 611 letter basically, or the section 611 of the FCRA, is the law or the section that states that you have the right to dispute inaccuracies on your credit report, and you have the right to request a reinvestigation. 609, if I recall, it has something to do with the state of, like, if you were a victim of identity theft, or if you want to retrieve your credit report to look for inaccuracies, this is the section on how you can go about doing that. But in all actuality, if you are looking to use a specific law to dispute inaccuracies on your credit report, it is the 611. All right.
The reason
Now,
why the reason why
here is
I
what
brought
I want to
the
add.
reason why I brought that up is because a lot of people have been making this 609 letter their main letter, and they're combining. And I'm about to it's going to touch on my second part of my question here in a second. Um, but it's all about identity theft, right? And I'm glad that you mentioned that, right? Um, because these credit gurus, right, are teaching you the 609 dispute tactic. They're telling you, hey, I'll charge you $1,500 to $3,500, somewhere in that range, to pay up front, uh, to get you to
Which is
fill out.
also illegal.
What,
I'm sorry, I just want
yeah,
to say.
which is illegal. So first off, you should never pay anybody any upfront money. And I learned that today. Over, is it a certain dollar amount?
No, it is illegal according to the Credit Repair Organizations Act. It is illegal to charge an upfront flat rate fee for credit services. The service must be provided first, and then there is a charge. But no credit repair company can charge an upfront flat rate fee for credit repair services, and that is a federal law.
Okay. And then to to compound on that, right? I know some people that got a lot of stuff removed off their credit in the past, um, with identity theft. They've been a victim of identity theft, and if you've been a victim of identity theft, you might want to listen to this part right here, because it works. If you've been a victim of identity theft, you better be a victim of identity theft, because
Correct.
they check. But the Federal Trade Mission affidavit, the FTC affidavit, it is a proven method. It's proven to remove inaccuracies off your credit report very, very fast. Sometimes up to like 72 hours, you can have inaccurate, fraudulent items removed off your credit report.
Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
Um, is it inaccurate? Because it's accurate that it is yours. That is the truth report.
If
So
if it was a identity theft, if it's identity theft,
oh, okay. Noted.
hey, listen, what y'all paying for? I'm just telling y'all, when y'all be going into these programs and what you're paying for, people are selling you on these credit sweeps. They call it a credit sweep. They call what else they call it the 72-hour deletion.
Oh yes, yes, yes. The 72-hour deletion.
They call it a couple of different things, but the FTC has put together it's a form, it's an affidavit for victims of identity theft, right? And if you have been a victim of identity theft, there are laws that protect you, and that's what this is for. If you have not been a victim of identity theft and you use this, it's at your own risk, right? And that's what happens a lot of times where you invest into a credit repair company and they go and they get you to fill out and notarize some documents, right? You put your signature on it, and then they fill out the rest for you. And when they fill out the rest, um, you're responsible for whatever they fill out on that paperwork. And most of the time, what's required is you have to actually get a police report. You have to attach your driver's license or utility bill, etc., to show your actual residence where you reside. And her face is funny as shit. and and you can literally any fraudulent thing that you have on your credit report can be removed. Literally everything, and fast. Now talk about the other side of that because your face is cracking me the fuck up funny.
Because I have literally seen so many people go to federal the feds. Like um all the time. I talked about this last week. I just shared with y'all about the young lady who went to jail. Like they came to her house. Now she has falsification of police report. She got credit card fraud, wire fraud, this, and it's like you don't even know what you're doing. And then the part I guess kind of like bothers me about this is because like these people that this is happening to, they're like peas to the people that are actually going out telling people to do these type of things. So when they try to speak up for themselves and say, hey, this is what I'm going through now based off of what this person told me to do or what they've done on my behalf. Oh no, well, you didn't do something right, or you trying to take this person down, and now this person feels defeated twice because they paid this person, to do something for them, and out of being desperate and and trying to take shortcuts. But now you put yourself in, even more trouble trying to get yourself out of. And I posted on my page, this young lady and her story, and it's also on my IGTV, where another lady is fighting with the feds right now over a CPN number. They were trying to give her 15 to 30 years. And the restitution that they have put on this lady is like outrageous. She would be indebted to them, to the government, for the rest of her life. And I know people right now that started in the industry with me who were selling CPNs, who were telling people to get fraud affidavits, and they're sitting in prison right now for doing this. These people are not playing about their money, and they would give people a longer sentence for these white collar crimes than going out here robbing somebody. So one thing these banks do not play about is their money. Again, there are rules for everybody else and there's rules for us. So let's not even play those kind of games. And I know it seems, very enticing because it's quick. But was it quick for you to get into that situation? Like, you also have to keep in mind that the stuff that you were trying to repair, it's not just a credit card that you didn't pay. It's not just a bankruptcy. It's not just a foreclosure. This is years and years of generations and lack of knowledge and negligence that you were trying to heal from. Like, financial trauma, like generational trauma, like learning how to strategically, pay bills. This is something that is on you every single day. So you feeling like right now, I just want to get this house, or I just want to get this car, or I just want to get this. So I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get it. And trust me, when you are playing stupid games, you're gonna win a stupid prize. And
And
it may not catch you
ignorance. Hold on,
immediately.
let me cut you off. Ignorance ain't no damn excuse.
It's not. It's not. And I'm just saying, and I frown my face, and I got to get better with my poker face. And I can't believe I'm going to be 40 years old and I still have not worked on it. Because mom was like, you still too old to not be able to, what you think, show up on your face. I'm still working on this. So I'm hoping by the time my 40 come, I can really look at somebody and not look like what I'm thinking. But it literally bothers me because I see what happens on the back end. I'm seeing the people who are getting caught, the people are having to do time. I'm hearing investigators and detectives telling me, hey, we got a whole little section ship set up for people who do stuff like this. And it's literally the people that I want to help and protect every single day and show them the right way of doing this. But I can only help those who want to be helped. So it's always going to be somebody for them who choose to do things, illegally or lack integrity. And it's always going to be people for me who want to do things the right way. So you just pick your side.
Um, the game you've been given today, Arnita, don't
I
play.
hope I bless somebody game today.
But just so y'all know, like for y'all to actually have been victims of identity theft, if your mom put something in your name, your uncle put something in your name, that's identity theft. You can't go put that
Absolutely.
shit on your police report. You don't have to tell on your people. You can say you don't know who did it, right? Because most of the time the police don't investigate. I'm gonna keep it real with you. They don't investigate the shit unless they investigate the shit, and that means you done ran off with some people money or did something where they done start trying to backtrack and figure something out, and now you're gonna get your boot smoked. But I mean, I keep it real. I've been around the game a little bit. I don't talk about all the experiences I've been around, but I done seen some shit that'll make you uncomfortable. I done seen people make a lot of
Absolutely.
money in this business. I done seen a lot of people do unethical stuff. I seen the trade line business. I seen it all, the funding end of it. I've been around it, so I know. So I want to, and I'm thankful that you came on and like keep it real because a lot of times people come in and their whole point is to like promote their program, product, or service, and you really are educating, and that's the difference. Like I appreciate you taking the time to truly
Thank you.
educate versus just going out here and saying, "Hey, look, you can come and click the link in my bio and buy my program." The people that are on here, like it's been thousands of people that have been on here for the past 2 hours. I want to tell you,
Appreciate that.
this can help you change your whole situation. Like you can really, increase your financial literacy. You need to go back and watch this video multiple times. It's 2 hours. I know ain't no way in the hell you could have retained everything that we've been talking about on these 2 hours. Arnita has been amazing at just the real deal, like truth, what you need to know in credit repair. I keep saying, I'm gonna say real estate. But I want to make sure you haven't already done so. Please make sure that like you're gonna get a ton of followers because like I done gave like 8 call to actions to go follow you, so they all gonna go
I
follow
appreciate that.
Hello Arnita on Instagram and Luxurious Credit. The reason why I brought it on here because when I was having a call earlier today, I was trying to find somebody that I could recommend to my audience that maybe you don't have the time to do credit repair. Maybe you need results and you don't want to do it on your own. You want to have a trusted guide. That's why I brought Arnita. She has a coaching program. She has resources. She has all that stuff in the Luxurious Credit bio. Just make sure you go send her a message, get in contact with her, and let her know I sent you. Right, let her know that you came from over here. But it's really important to make sure that you get your credit worthiness up. You understand how important financial literacy is, right? Like our whole goal is to make sure like you know how to operate with credit, so you can start breaking generational curses. Um, when I first, made my first 15 to 16 signature. I signed off on shit when I was in college and everything else. I was really irresponsible with debt, didn't know how to manage debt, and I put myself in a position where I had evictions, charge offs, repos, all that on my credit report. So I had to take steps to try to educate myself on how to get all this stuff fixed up, how to get myself back in order, and more. And I wanted to, when I started this 31 day challenge, I was really like not sure of how many people really didn't have real literacy when it came to credit, right? And real quick, I just want you in the chat, real quick, if you had prior to joining in the last week, I just want to know, if you've never seen your credit report prior to this week, I want you to press a one right now in the comments. If you have learned something new right now that you've never seen before, I want you to press a one right now in the comments. If you got something to help you change your life and you know that you're going to implement it, I want you to press a one right now in the comments, because I want to know if this was worth it. Was it worth your 2 hours? Was it impactful, right? I want you to definitely go to my girl Arnita. Hello, Arnita. Follow on Instagram and Luxurious Credit. And now I'm about to pick one person off my page. And Arnita, you can go through the chat, through the comments. You can wherever you want to. We're going to give away $1,000 each. Um, and I'm seeing a bunch of people saying that pressing one. So obviously, like, this is really, really dope that we're helping people get educated uh, on ways that they can truly make impact and change their lives. How you doing, Arnita? You picking one person? You picking multiple people? What you doing?
So am I giving one person $1,000, two people $500? How you want me to do this?
You do your thing, like however you want to do it.
Okay. And from what comment section do you want me to pick them from?
I actually like the YouTube section right now, the people that's
Let me
live.
go there
We
now.
know if you dropping gems in the chat right now, maybe Arnita might pick you. If you putting the diamonds in the chat right now, maybe Arnita picks your comment because she knows that you're here. So make sure you press the like button right now. Make sure that you drop some gems or put, what you learned. Give me a takeaway that Arnita gave you that you didn't know. That's what it is. Give me an Arnita takeaway. I want you to tell me one thing that you learned that Arnita gave you today that you didn't know before you came on this call. That's what we're gonna pick from. We're gonna pick from the best learners, right? The people that actually learn something. They said you don't put them old school glasses on. That's how I seen it this morning.
I cannot see without my glasses. I cannot read without. I'm like, okay. I believe I found someone. They've been pretty active from what I've heard. Okay. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, I'm going through the comments. I'm letting y'all give me the takeaways. If y'all ain't learned nothing, then I ain't giving you no money, right? What did you learn from Arnita today? She's been up here talking for 2 hours straight. What did you learn new today? And make sure you press that like button while you're in here. We need to have all the likes. We need 2,000 likes before we get out of here, man. We need 2,000 likes to end this video. We've been running this thing, right?
Okay. Oh, so many people. I feel like I'm so there's so much pressure.
You can do,
Okay. I found someone. So I'm just gonna give one person $1,000.
Okay.
And that's gonna be Derica Henry.
Derica Henry. What did she comment? What was
Be consistent with the creditors about removing late payments.
Derica Henry. Reach out to Hello Arnita on Instagram.
DM me, please, on Hello Arnita. Derica Henry. So if Derica Henry, if you could please shoot me a DM on Hello Arnita.
There's some good comments in here. I like these. Rafi said he's waiting to hear about bankruptcies. I'm gonna go back and put the I'll put the notes and the little Anna notes or whatever you call it, where you can go back and tell what we talked. We had she covered how you get any judgment already removed. Let's see. I'm trying to find somebody I'm giving my 1,000 to. And I've been seeing this one person comment, and I think I'm gonna give you the $1,000. Honestly, I've just been seeing you consistently popping up the entire time. Let me see. I see people with trade lines. People talking about the downsides of trade lines. I think you scared the shit out of everybody with trade lines now.
I'm sorry. I was just telling the truth.
Courts do not report to the credit bureaus, correct? 7 years from the date of last activity. CPNs are illegal. Yep. What about getting? This is one more question. Let me ask you: how do you get child support off your credit report? I know a lot of men sick of that shit. Can you get child support off?
It's the same way. If it's reported inaccurately, it's not reported timely, you can dispute it, especially if a judgment has been filed with the government. But also, this gets really tricky with child support because they don't always go back and report like the times that you were paying on time, or they won't post. They won't report. They'll just actually start reporting the time of default. So if I were you, start looking at, for those who have child support reporting onto their credit reports, start looking at the report date, start looking at the balance, start looking at the payment history, and start looking for any inconsistencies in that to request that it be removed from your credit report. Also, don't be afraid to retrieve your actual records from the state attorney general just to make sure that it aligns with what is being reported onto the credit report. So look for any inconsistencies. And something else that I wanted to add is on one account alone, there can be up to 25 inaccuracies on one account. So you have tons of inaccuracies to challenge with the credit bureaus to get that information removed or corrected. So keep that in mind. Also, I want to say this: when you
she ain't done.
inaccuracy,
she's still dropping gems.
You
ain't gotta apologize. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. I want to add that when you were challenging inaccuracies on your credit report, it is the credit bureau's job to make sure that the information that's on your credit report is accurate. It is not your job to tell them what that inaccuracy is. All right. So you don't want to say, oh, hey, I don't actually owe $10. I owe $5. That's inaccurate. Remove it. 9 out of 10, they're going to update it. All right. So you want to make sure that if there is an inaccuracy on your credit report, and you know for a fact that it is a true inaccuracy on your credit report, and the result of that is you want to remove from your credit report, then that's what you want to continue to tell them each and every time. But you do not want to tell them what that inaccuracy is unless it's something that you want to have updated. And then one more thing I want to say, because we kind of got on repossessions and we kind of got off, but how to properly challenge repossessions on your credit report. One of the things that is really, really effective, like this is like one of my gems, and you want to make sure that
let's go. I want this one.
Get out here in a little bit. because I have to pick up my son, but I want to add this. All right, this is a true gem. Okay. Remember, all right, if the information, even reporting negatively, if it is contributing to your credit history, all right, I do not recommend that you dispute it, because the chance that it could be removed and hence cause your credit score to decrease because you are removing credit history that is lengthy, that is actually helping you from your credit report. All right. So if you have a repossession that is old, but it is, aged, but it is contributing to the credit history, then I would not challenge that based on what else is reporting onto the credit report. I just want to add that. All right. So you have to remember that when you were disputing information, all right, and you want it to be removed, is it helping or hurting? Remember that rule of thumb. Now, when it comes to repossessions, all right, this is what you want to make sure that you look for. In the event that that car has been sold, you want to make sure how much, because with a repossession, they are supposed to deduct the amount that their repoed vehicle was sold for from the balance that you owe. Oftentimes, they will resell that vehicle and they will never update it with the credit bureaus. All right. If you find out that that vehicle had been sold after it was repoed and the updated balance has not been corrected, all right, then you dispute that repossession with the credit bureaus and request that it be removed because it's found to be reporting inaccurately. And you know that it's reporting inaccurately because you know that the car has been sold, but the balance has not been updated. All right, it is still
And that's
reporting.
important because they have to give you documents that show you how much they sold your property for.
And oftentimes they do not do that. They repo their car, they pick it up, and you never hear from them again. So that was a key gem that I wanted to share with you all when it.
All right, so real quick, I need Arnita's 5 tips to remove anything off your credit report. Like 5 tips. Like if Arnita had to give me 5 tips right now to get anything removed off my credit report, tell me where to start from. Tip number 1.
Okay. Tip number 1 would definitely be to retrieve your credit report and look for inaccuracies.
All right. Tip number 2.
Know if you want the outcome to be removed or updated.
All right. Tip number 3.
Dispute the account with the credit bureaus. Don't lay up and request a reinvestigation within accordance to section 611.
All right. Was that number 4?
Number 4 is to be consistent and to not be afraid to escalate your disputes with the Attorney General, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, and the Federal Trade Commission.
So, number 5?
To be sure that when you are challenging inaccuracies on your credit report, to not incriminate yourself.
What you mean don't incriminate yourself?
So again, if I want the information removed, I'm not going to tell you what I want removed because you're just going to update it. If I want it removed from my credit report, I'm not going to tell you what that inaccuracy is because it is your job to ensure that that information was 100% accurate with the according to the law before it was inserted onto my credit report in the first place. So it's not my job to do your job for you. So if I'm looking to get a derogatory, inaccurate information removed from my credit report, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is because all you're going to do is update it. It's inaccurate, and the result of that is I want to be removed from my credit report. So what you see is what you get. That's your job to figure out what it is. Also, lastly, I want to add with bankruptcies, this is like my last gem I'm dropping y'all, okay? But with bankruptcies, you also have to keep in mind that any accounts that were included in bankruptcy, it must state that as well on the account. If not, you want to request that be removed as well. Okay, and that's it. But I gave y'all
You went crazy in here.
A lot of gems. Can I give one more gem? I'm sorry. I really want to give one more before I get out of here. All right. Inquiries. Because I know a lot of people want to dispute inquiries. Okay. Keep in mind that inquiries remain on your credit report for 2 years and they don't have that much of an impact on the credit report after 6 months. if you are disputing inquiries that you indeed allowed these creditors to look at your credit report, and such accounts are on your credit report due to the inquiry that you allowed them to
They're gonna
pull,
close your damn account.
yes, they will. And one of my clients went to another credit repair company before coming to me, and she had some late payments on her auto loan that she still had, and this credit repair company disputed those late payments. It's not mine, and they picked her car up and dropped her from the loan. So just be very cautious
Hey,
with,
look. As long as they took that damn car off her credit report.
No, it's still there.
Hold on, you ain't taking my car and
No,
keeping the negative on my credit report.
it's still there for now. That's why she's with us.
Oh yeah,
it's still there. So what they did was dropped her from the loan, and they went and picked up the vehicle, but they had information. So basically, she went against the loan. She lied, but it's still on the credit report, and we are still challenging it right now as of this moment.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So just be careful. Just do it the right way. That you don't have to worry about all the other stuff.
I'm loving this, man. Arnita, you are insane. Um, all right, people that don't have bad credit. Let me get one more piece of game from you, right?
Oh, I love that.
Because everybody don't have bad credit, right? I had a lady ask me yesterday. She was like, "Hey Tony, I don't have any credit at all."
Oh, that she do have bad credit.
No credit at all is better than having bad credit, but she has no credit.
Yeah, then I will focus on establishing credit. And when I'm looking to establish credit, or I'm telling clients, or people who ask me about establishing credit, I love credit unions. Navy Federal, PenCred, um, your local credit unions, they are just so open and friendly when it comes to people with new credit. Of course, you can never go wrong with a secure credit card. The more you put down, the better the leverage you're going to have. But you cannot go wrong with a credit union. I have not dealt with a credit union, of my clients have not dealt with a credit union who has failed them yet. A lot of these big institutions, they want to see some type of rapport, because they see you as a risk because they don't know how you pay people. So they just assume that you don't. And that's when you start getting to scorecards and, stuff like that. But when you are looking to establish credit and establish yourself in the lending world, do not be afraid to go to a credit union. And of course, the more you start establishing relationships with them, the better the limits and offers that they will extend to you.
Arnita has really showed out today. Um, wow. I'm still looking to find that one person I'm going to give my 1,000 to. Arnita has picked her person, and I see one person, but I'm looking around to see if I can't find anybody else. This is powerful. Like, what didn't we cover that just from the bad credit aspect? How to get the negatives off if you don't have any credit. We talked about trade lines. We talked about uh, CPNs. We talked about the FTC affidavit. We talked about repossessions. We talked about child support. We talked about evictions. We talked about timeshare judgment removals. We talked about every damn thing you could talk about in the last 2 hours and 30 minutes. Woof.
Yeah, we got a lot out.
You ain't playing. Nicole said you was a shit though. Like, and then you instantly gained that credibility when I heard you on the call earlier today. I just like, my boy. I put Arnita on the phone. I just want to make sure whoever I had as a referral to my people with somebody that was going to take care of my people. Not, I'm not sending my people to nobody that's talking about no motherfucking $1,500 nothing. Like the average fucking person is making anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000 a month.
Yes.
Now, if you know that and you're teaching financial literacy and you charging a motherfucker $3,500, I'm using a specific number. You can do some math. If you charging that type of money, you speaking financial literacy to the community. That don't add up to me. Like
Mm-mm.
so, what was important to me was making sure when people get their credit worked on, because you can do this stuff on your own. And that's why we talked about it today. Every day of this training that I'm doing in the 31-day training, I'm teaching you ways that you can do stuff on your own. Arnita is an expert. She has a company that specializes in getting shit done, right? So you can do it on your own, and either way, it's going to take you a bit of time. It's not going to be overnight, all right? So when
Absolutely.
when when it comes to getting credit repair done, don't expect it to be overnight. If you've been a victim of identity theft, it could be a little bit quicker. But outside of that, you can expect a couple months or a couple of reporting cycles, right? Because it takes time
Uh-huh.
to have the
Absolutely.
credit, the 30-day cycles and responding to letters and
Yes.
disputes and things of that nature takes some time. But what I want you to do is, if you want an expert to guide you, I want you to go and tap in with Arnita. I want you to go right to her page. I want you to go to her bio, Luxurious Credit, and I want you to go buy all that shit. Whatever she got up there, go buy that shit. And put yourself in a situation to change your family situation, and that means implement. Like
Absolutely.
it doesn't mean you just go and do nothing. You go to somebody that's proven. You get the game, and then you implement the shit she tells you to do, so you can get yourself all the way together. Now, I watched her switch up from like the morning view to to she doing the goddamn Beyonce this evening, right? And I know it happened pretty quick. And I don't expect your credit to get changed as quick as she changed up from the call this morning. But I know she is really, really good. She gonna get the shit done. You can hear her expertise. I play too much.
Cause I do be looking beat up in the morning. I be
I
sounding
said,
like a
"Hey,
dude and
look,
everything.
you came with this morning." I said,
Nicole was like, "Oh, I need
she said Beyonce. I said, "What the fuck she talking about?" Oh shit! Uh, Shout out to Arnita, luxurious credit. Y'all go tap in. Like if you got the income, you ready to make instant shit get done. Well, not instant, but if you want to work with an expert, uh, you know why I brought her here. You seen it for yourself for the past couple hours. She even taught me some shit. Um, and I want y'all to all go follow her. I want you to support her because she just poured in y'all for free for 2 hours and 40 minutes. With all the popping, we had to figure out tech, all that. We was figuring it out as we went along. I still didn't quite get the full screen on YouTube, but we up here. They get the message. They get the
right.
information.
That's all that matters."
Um, and that's 2 hours and a half, 2 hours and 40 minutes of real damn information. Um, um, and I see y'all like look at that. Don't assume liability. Get everything in writing. Reporting accurate information. Y'all on point. It's illegal for credit card repair service to charge up front. Somebody said just pay her my winnings. She ain't even gonna be moved by that girl money alone. She ain't worried about no thousand. I said I was giving away 1,000. She's like, you just going to think you going to give away 1,000? I ain't gonna give away 1,000. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Press the like button real quick if you appreciate this. If you
Yes,
already
y'all
pressed the
did
like button.
amazing. Like literally to be here this long and stay around because people always want to make financial literacy and credit education boring. So for y'all to really have stuck with us this long, it really says a lot about what y'all trying to do with yourself. So
Somebody said just got me and my wife the joint pack.
hey, congratulations! Welcome to the AMB Credit family. You are in good hands.
Hey, look, I'm seeing all the. Which is the A and B family? We got it.
Yeah, so AMB Credit Consultant is my actual credit education service where we actually perform the services for you all. So
Oh,
that's ambcreditconsultants.com.
hey, AMB, we're gonna have to get an AMB/Rona proof game. We gotta,
Yeah, we do.
yeah, we gotta get a little family going on here. My people like you.
We can make that happen. You know,
Yeah,
we always here to help.
yeah, my people like you. They loving it. We gotta make that work. Appreciate y'all
Here for
all
that.
for being so amazing today. Once again, go hit that link in the luxurious credit bio. Go get your shit together right now. Right, right now. Um, I'm looking for somebody else to give some money to. All right, I'm gonna hop off here. We're both gonna hop off. I'm gonna give away $1,000 on my IG. Um, thank you so much,
Thank you
Arnita.
for having me.
You are a rock star, and everybody on here appreciates you. I read the comments and
Yes, I appreciate you all. Thanks for having me.
ooh wee. 1,800 people have liked this video. I don't think I ever had a video that got this many likes that fast.
Stop. Don't stop. Stop the tails.
If
Stop
if
it.
you put a thumbs down, you are a hater. We know that. But 70 y'all probably left.
Mm, that's part of the CPN friends.
Yeah, they be, when you start talking about, hey man, that's illegal and that's their business practice.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling a couple of hit dogs gonna holler, but I'm just gonna tell the truth, and we got to do it the right way, And I mean, I know it's a lot of. Hey, I'm really one of the most hated in this industry because of the truth I speak. So
Hey, I'm used to that type of shit.
they
That
ain't
fit,
never stopped my money.
it
Like
fits
it
in
ain't
with
never
me.
stopped the people I done helped. So it is what it is. And I always get ridiculed, from some people in the industry who want to do it fast and say, oh, if you want to go the long way, try to insult me as far as saying if you want to go the long way, which is the legal way, how in the world you gonna turn around and say that? Like you should want to go the legal way. That should be the only way. But
Hey, look,
hey, again,
read this message from Rico. Just
I just that girl and that is gonna take forever to repair your people. That's like Lacey Law. Your people need to be done fast. 450, my bottom line. Okay, well, you're right. I cannot give you fast. And let me tell you why I cannot give you fast. For one, it's illegal, okay? And for two, you have to keep in mind that by law, the credit bureaus have 30 to 45 days
to
to
respond.
respond. And they have an additional 7 days to send you the results of that investigation. We're already looking at 50 something days. So by the time the results get to your hand, okay, this is whether I do it or you do it yourself. That's the law. And then if you want a rebuttal and you're sending that dispute back out, they get another 30 to 45 days. This is the same with the collection agency. This is the same with your creditors. This is the same with the credit bureaus. That's just what it is. And let's just be real clear. I don't have any problem with anyone Googling me, okay? I was nominated second year in a row by Investopedia as the best credit repair company for credit education, recommended by money.com, Forbes, and was just rated one of the top 10 credit companies by yahoo.com. All right. Investopedia and thebalance.com, which is one of the most prestigious money finance blogs in the country, compared my company, AMB Credit Consultants, to Lexington Law, and we were chosen as best pick. So I am not someone who feel like I have to
Talk
sell
your shit,
myself.
Queen.
I'm not somebody who feel like I have to sell myself or like prove myself to anybody. Like my job is to literally tell y'all that y'all can do this yourself and give y'all the tea on how to do that. And if you choose to sign up for my services because you want someone with an extreme level of expertise who have been blessed, have been coached by the best in this industry, then that's what we're here for. But outside of that, I'm just working in my assignment. True story. I was on food stamps, Section 8, didn't have a pot to piss in, when to throw it out of. And I had just got fired from my job, trying to look for another job. And I remember starting my credit repair business, and everybody was calling me Tommy Alpha Martin, telling me it wasn't going to go anywhere. I was behind on my bills. I went to the mailbox, all type of pink slips, past due notices coming out. And as I'm walking back to my Section 8 apartment with my 2-year-old daughter on my hip, I said, God, if you get me out of this situation, I will help everybody that you tell me to. I will touch and agree and provide this type of information that you have bestowed on me for free to everybody. And if they want me to help them, if they want to pay for my services, I'm here. And I'm gonna tell you, it ain't a 7-figure that I ain't touched yet. So believe me when I tell you, I'm blessed by the best. And I don't have to go around and do things illegal and sell myself and say, oh, click link my bio, do this, wait, there's more. I'm not that kind of girl. If you want it, I'm here. If not, it's going to be somebody else for you. So that's just the way of the game for me. Okay. So I haven't said nothing else to Tony now time about what we talked about this morning. Brother here done his research and said, hold on, she going to be slow, bro. Hey, I'm gonna do it right and I'm gonna do it legally. That's one. I heard him get a little quiet too when he Googled me and started looking at them Google reviews too. He got a little quiet.
And you got that southern swang to it. You know, he just knew he had you, and you start popping your shit. And I be here for that because you know a lot of times people underestimate people, and I never underestimate anybody, right? Like you know, the one thing I realized that you know you never ever ever you know underestimate anybody. And when you start speaking, my eyes got big. I was like, pop your shit, and you can see even his face when you were Googled because he Googled you, and then it changed. So, you know, for me, I made a huge campaign about no refunds, no peace. I'm very very big on being ethical. I don't play the funny business, like you know. So I'm telling y'all, like it was important to me, like getting on that call with her this morning. I said, I'm not overcharging my people to get no information. Like if you gonna get on my platform, I know people trust me. I know it's important that you know who I send them to gonna take care of them. And I know most people making you know $2,000 or less per month, so they can't afford to be spending $1,500, $500 a month. That's almost a fraction of their income in order to have financial literacy and freedom. So um, I'm so thankful for you taking time to like really pour into people.
Thanks for having me.
I see why you get the results because you know your shit. You opened up my eyes on. I mean, I'm not a dummy when it comes to credit by far. I would consider myself just be not an expert, but like right.
Yeah, I mean, you came. I was actually shocked. You came
Like,
with some stuff. I was
like I ain't even go in the bag because you know for this I wanted to highlight you, but I left a little bit of stuff in my bag for y'all for the rest of the 31-day training, right? So we gonna be in day 6 tomorrow. Got more information. This is gonna be every single day. I'm going live 31 days straight, teaching you ways that you can make money, leverage your credit, get into real estate without having credit. How do you even you know get cars and all kind of
That's some
luxury
good stuff.
hacks and more.
I think I'm finna tune in for these next 24 days myself. I feel like I done missed out already.
Yeah, I got some little you know some stuff I plan on sharing. Manufacturer spending. I mean, all the you know just the hacks. You know, because I know some people already have credit, right? I wanted to come in from the beginning, from the just explaining credit, helping people understand from the if you don't have any credit, any understanding of credit, and then you know how you can improve it and fix it, and then now that you have credit or begin to establish, where do you go from there? For my people to have credit, how you can go open up bank accounts with your credit cards, how you can
Absolutely.
manufacture spend, how you can get reward points, the best places to get cars with reward points in 2021, how to actually buy a car, and actually use it for Turo, right? The best cars to use for Turo, like in your area, like how to do that market research. Um, I just see a lot of people overspending for shit that like I'm just going to give the game. So
Big facts.
yeah, I'm just with all the smoke, and I'm giving the free game every day, 31 days straight. So if you don't have the ability to be able to afford an expensive program, your finances are restricted right now, or you maybe just trying to find one hack or one gem that can help you, advance yourself financially. You want to tune in for the next 20 something plus days. Um, I'm literally going to teach you how to buy a car. I used to work in a dealership. I did
I
everything in
did
the dealership
too.
from a car salesman to being a finance manager to actually being around the retail operation manager. I ran
Mm.
stores. So I'm going to tell you exactly how to buy a car, the best time to buy a car, how to get the car for the best price, how to even get the financing, right? How to arrange financing so you can get the best rates before you walk in the dealership. So you're not working against payment because most
Right.
people are getting closed on payment. They close you on payment. They don't close you on rate, right? And
Yep.
how the point system works. I'm gonna teach you how the point system works. I'm gonna fucking piss off a lot of car people because they can be like, man, you messing with my money. But in the next 20 plus days, continuous ways that you can get paid, make money. My millionaire hack.
That's it.
Hey,
Y'all stay tuned because today, if the rest of the challenge is gonna be like this, y'all should not be going nowhere. Like this is Rona proof, period. Like this is generational. So I done paid a lot of money to get the type of information I know or set in rooms
yeah,
that I had never heard
you
some of
had
the
to be in the
things
right
I
room.
just shared.
Yeah.
So I just want to be in the right room able to pass this on down. So, big ups to you for doing it, especially for free. So I'm always a student. I don't never have a problem with learning. I'm gonna pick up my ride this week. So I don't know if I want to put it on Turo, but I think I'm gonna have to sit around for that and see if that's gonna be worth it.
See the new game, right? You already know in credit, when you go get one pull, you can do it all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I tell people and what I'm going to recommend is, hey, if you go buy a car, get two cars when you buy your car. So now you got one car that you can have working for your payments to pay off your other car.
Yep, that's gonna be the plan. What day is that so I can be here?
I haven't put it on the schedule.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna be here. I'm gonna be here every day
Yeah,
anyway.
that's the whole idea is to keep people strung along. I'm gonna string them along each day. I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
I'm gonna be here. I need that information anyway. But oh Lord,
I
okay,
got, I
I'm
got
here for
the,
that.
for my people that's under 25. When you're under 25, like the rental car companies don't let you rent from them. I got the hack.
Mm-hmm.
I got the hack for y'all, so y'all can get rental cars. Um,
Y'all gotta stay tuned.
yeah, I've been, I got a little bit of stuff up my sleeve, like how you can get a whole row to yourself on a plane. Like some of y'all can't afford first class, right? But I'm gonna teach you how you're able to get the whole row by yourself and literally fly, on your own row, so you can.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, you stunned on us. We need that.
I got
I need that.
I got the private jet hacks. I'm gonna give y'all. Yep.
Yeah, I
I'm giving
need
up
that.
private jet hacks. What else I got? My 31-day challenge is about to be nuts, right? And it's free. And I did find somebody that I'm giving the other $1,000 to. Shout out to Chaz 3855 or whatever your name is. You know who you are, Chaz. I'm gonna send me a DM on Instagram, Chaz. I've been seeing you over and over again. I like your comment, Chaz 3845. You're in here.
Right.
Congratulations.
Well, I
Um,
appreciate this. I have to get out of here and tend to my mommy duties.
yeah, I got to go fly. I got a flight tonight, so
Oh yeah,
uh,
that's right. You'll be down here tomorrow.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna come
okay.
meet you tomorrow.
Well, I'm here for it.
Hey, after all this game, shit, we got to meet. Um, Thank you everybody who joined in today. If you haven't done so already, do me one last time. Make sure you like this video. I want to get to 2,000 likes. We had 1,879 likes on this video. Amazing. Wow. Once again, if you haven't already done so, go follow Hello Arnita on Instagram or Luxurious Credit. Arnita came in here and delivered today. She delivered for 3 hours, right? Shout out to Arnita. Gems on gems on gems on gems. Go follow me on IG. Come every day. Day 6 starts tomorrow. Homework assignments will be in the portal. So if you're not in the portal, the replay, all that stuff will be inside the portal. All the homework assignments, all that stuff. If you haven't taken that first week quiz, that means you failed it. Go take your quiz. Pass your quiz. Good luck to everybody. Thank you, Arnita. Thank you so much. It was amazing.
All right. Yeah, have a good one.
All right. Let me get out of here.